What is up, hooligans? Happy freedom, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. And I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More thumbs up equals more hooligans. Well, we're waiting on KJP. We actually got a press briefing today, and we got Peter Ducey. So KJP is probably going to be crying a little bit. You know, there's going to be a lot of questions about Hunter Biden and all that. Either way, like I said, hit that thumbs up button. You can also do the same thing on GoofTube over there. Go ahead and drop what color you think KJP is going to be staggering out in today. I assume it's going to be any minute. This thing just popped up, so any minute now. Just give me a second here. We're going to put some things together while we're waiting on KJP real quick. Hopefully she don't come out with Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or any of that kind of nonsense. Jill Handler might have stuff to do today. Let me see here. There we go. I think we're good everywhere. Doo-doo-doo. Is Rumble not working? Ah, it's working. What color is that? Commie red.
Give me a quick second here. Packed room.
Prostitute.
I wonder why. Okay, I have a quick thing at the top, and then we'll get going. On Tuesday, the president will deliver a speech in D.C. on his economic record and legacy, including his transformative investments in America, rebalancing the scales of our country in favor of workers, lowering costs for everyday necessities, and creating a small business boom. Just today, we learned more than 220,000 jobs were created last month, making this the only presidency in 50 years to have job growth every single month. Over the last 4 years, the president has rejected trickle-down economics and written a new economic playbook that builds the economy from the middle out and bottom up, not the top down. This is a strong foundation for years to come. As many of you have reported, including the Associated Press, Trump will inherit an economy primed for growth. And with that, Associated Press, you have the first question.
Thanks, Corinne. Is the president considering blanket pardons for either individuals or groups of people who are fearful of potentially being targeted by the incoming Trump administration?
So look, I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but what I can say is that the president is reviewing other pardons and commutations, and I do want to lay out a little bit of the history the history the president has taken over the last almost 4 years, actions that he's taken, because it's important to note that the president has so far issued 20 individual pardons and 122 commutations. He's issued more sentence commutations at this point in his presidency than any of his recent predecessors at the same point in their first terms. This is in addition to groundbreaking categorical pardons that the president issued to address marijuana possession, convictions, military convictions in the LGBTQ plus community. And as recently as April, if you go back a couple of months, the president issued 11 pardons, 5 commutations for individuals convicted of nonviolent drug offenses who demonstrated a commitment to rehabilitation. So there certainly will be more to say, just more broadly speaking. And as you know, commutations and pardons are usually done when it's the president's final term historically around the holidays, and so certainly there'll be more to come. Anything outside of that, I would say that I'm not going to get into deliberations, private deliberations, and I'm just not going to get ahead of the president.
Are preemptive pardons on the table as our president goes through?
I'm just not going to. I'm not going to get ahead of the president. Certainly, the president is looking at reviewing next steps, and there will be more to come. I'm just not going to get ahead of the president. I'm not going to get into hypotheticals from here.
And then a different party question. In your first briefing here, as press secretary, you committed to speaking to the American people in, and I quote, in a transparent way, in a truthful way, and an honest way.
Yes.
And then in July...
even the dude has the liberal glasses on.
Pardoning his son, and he said, it's a no, it will be a no, it's a no.
Yes. And that is
So
exactly
clearly,
right.
the case of the president's son and that pardon,
Yeah.
it became a yes.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you would like to explain to
Yeah.
us, the American people, really why the information that you provided turned out not to be true.
And I answered this question on Monday. We spent about 30 minutes on this, almost 30 minutes, roughly 30 minutes on this particular issue. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said on Air Force One to your colleagues when I did the gaggle. And look, if you look at his statement.
She was gaggling, all right.
The statement that he put out on Sunday when he made this decision to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. It's in his own voice. I think it takes you through his thinking, and he did. He wrestled with this. And again, he said in his statement, in his own voice, that he made that decision this past weekend. And the fact is, when you think about how the president got to this decision, circumstances have changed. They have. And a couple of things, and I said this on Monday as well. Republicans said they weren't going to let up, weren't going to stop. Recently announced Trump appointees for law enforcement have said on the campaign that they were out for retribution, and I think we should believe their words, right? We should believe what they say. The sentencing was coming up, as you all know. There was a sentencing coming up, and the president said this in his statement, that Hunter and his family had been through enough. Enough is enough. And he wrestled with these circumstances, these changing circumstances ultimately.
He didn't wrestle with it that bad. He was taking a nap in Angola.
The president changing his mind and issuing, certainly led to the president changing his mind and issuing this pardon. And one thing that I do want to point to, which I think is important, is what Congressman James Clyburn said when he was interviewed. He said, "I am absolutely okay with it. I don't know how many people urge him to do so, but I did." He seemed to be reticent about it. This is what Clyburn said when he spoke to the president 2 weeks ago. But I emphasized, continuing his quote, emphasized the fact that we as fathers have obligations to our children. So that was
should have fucking raised him right. That's your obligation.
2 weeks ago said that the president was reticent when he encouraged the president to do so. And this weekend, he thought about it and he weighed. It was not an easy decision to come to, and he put out a comprehensive statement, and I would certainly
it wasn't comprehensive.
Offer that up to folks out there who are wondering. I would say please read the president's response to this in full.
I'm sure my colleagues have a few follow-ups, just very specifically.
It's not only colleagues who watch this. There's also the American people.
Exactly.
So to be fair,
and they were
right?
told by you in July that this would not happen, and it did. Do you, I'm saying, asking for yourself, not the president's statement, but for yourself. Do you feel like you are owed an apology by the president? Do you owe an apology to the American people?
Zeke, I just laid out the president's thinking. The president laid it out himself in his own words. He did. He laid out how he wrestled with this decision. He said in his statement, as a president, as a father, he talked about how difficult it was to make this decision. He thought about it this weekend. He did.
How many ways can you describe wrestling with a thought?
Some, factors, some real factors that he took.
He thunk and he thunk. And this is what he came up with.
Folks should just take a look. Take a look. Read his statement. And I know what I said. I know what the president said. That is where we were at the time.
And you guys lied.
The president was at the time. I am his spokesperson. This weekend, he thought about it. He wrestled with it. He wrestled with it. Decision. That's what I can tell the American people.
She was wrestling with it last night.
Anything else?
I think the American people understand.
Put some lotion on your hands. Jesus loves us.
Would be, and I would actually add. And I think it's important to note here, as you're asking me these questions, important questions to ask, that there was a poll, a U.S. Gov poll that came out, that some of you all
There was a poll, and Harris sucked it.
64% of the American people agree with the pardon. 64% of the American people. So we get a sense of where the American people are on this. Obviously, it's one poll, but it gives you a little bit of insight. 64% is not.
At the end of the show today, we got street interviews on how Americans feel about old man Walter pardoning Hunter.
This weekend,
we got our own little poll.
This weekend, he thought about this, and he made this decision. And let's not forget, we can't also forget what some of the legal experts and former prosecutors have all agreed on, many across the country, have virtually said no one would be criminally prosecuted with felony offenses with these facts. And they've all agreed. We've heard from many legal experts on this. You heard me quote the former Attorney General Eric Holder multiple times, I think about 8 times on Monday. No U.S. attorney would have charged this case given the underlying facts. Had his name been Joe Smith, the resolution would have been fundamentally and more fairly a declination, pardon warranted. And we've heard from many legal experts and also obviously a former U.S. attorney. Okay.
All of those things you laid out were known long before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And many Americans, in reflecting the 64%, certainly understand a father's point of view. But the president was declarative, you were declarative. You didn't give room for, depending on the outcome of the election or depending on the rhetoric coming from the potential next administration, the certainty with which the president and you portrayed the no pardon is part of where the question comes from. Because all the facts that you have outlined were well known in advance.
And I would add, there has been some circumstances that have changed this, right? Republicans not letting up, saying they won't stop, they're going to continue to do this. I mentioned the recent Trump appointees of legal enforcement positions, right? That said during the campaign they would have, they were out for retribution, and so no reason to not take them for the word. I pointed at, there was a sentencing coming up, as you all know.
That was well known.
I said there are multiple factors here. Not one thing led to this, multiple factors. And if you look at all of these, it's a combination of reasons why the president wrestled with this over the weekend and made this decision.
Now that you've had time and the president has had time to absorb how the public has responded to this, to think on it further, does he have any concerns about the fact that he had been so declarative and then granted this pardon? It's clearly done, and many Americans understand as a father how he would do that. But does he have concern about his credibility or the impact it might have on future pardons?
So, and I will also say, just to bring up Clyburn again, because I think it's important, right? Because you were asking me what we said.
Are you going to tell us he wrestled with it?
I spoke to the president 2 weeks ago, and the president, he said, this is Clyburn's words, the president was reticent when he tried to encourage him to pardon Hunter Biden. And I think that is his son, obviously, and I think that's important to note. Look,
and I think that is his son, obviously. Okay.
A couple of sentences in the president's statement, and I think it's important here where he talked about wrestling this and wanting to understanding that the American people are fair-minded, and talked about the importance of doing this and thinking about this over the weekend and coming to this decision and how he wrestled with it. And that was, I think, a message directly to the American people. The whole comprehensive statement was something that he wanted to share with the American people. But I think the way he ended his statement actually acknowledges and wanted to be very clear to the American people his own personal thinking about this, and understanding that they would look at this, and he believed they would be fair-minded about it. This was not easy for the president. It wasn't. Because you all mentioned the statements that we have made over the summer. So obviously this wasn't easy to come to this decision.
He could have reserved the right to consider it later. And when he's that declarative as the President of the United States, that's where it carries weight.
No, I understand. And Kelly, you know this president. You followed him during his vice presidency, right? You have covered him. When he's asked a question directly, he answers it directly.
So we are where we are. So does he regret?
Who is she talking about? Because it ain't Joe Biden.
The public about what would eventually happen.
Look, what I will say is he laid out his thought process. He talked about the underlying facts of the case. He thought it was very important. That was part of the first paragraph of his statement, wanting to explain and talking about the gun charges, right? Talking about the tax cases and wanting to make sure that they understood, like, these types of things would not be a normal.
You're just not gonna name smoking crack with hookers. You're not gonna throw that out there. Okay.
Right. Virtually no one would be criminally prosecuted with felony offenses with these facts. Whether it's absent aggravated factors, similar charges are rarely brought. When you think about gun charges, the tax cases, such as hunters, when taxes are repaid with penalties, are rarely criminally charged. They are handled civilly, and these are the things that the legal experts also agreed with him on. And so he wanted to lay that out for the American people as well. And I, don't have anything else beyond what the president laid out, his thinking in his written statement, in his words. I just don't have anything beyond that. Okay.
You check old man Walter's notes. It's just a squiggly line across the page.
Real swift criticism from members of his own party around this part. The Democrats have called it a setback, a mistake, said that they're worried Republicans will use this against Democrats in the future. Has the president felt the need to respond directly to any of his Democratic colleagues around their criticism of this move?
So look, what the president is going to focus on, and you've heard us say this, is running through the tape. He's going to focus on the American people. He's going to continue to deliver historic progress every day. That's going to be his focus. And if you think about his legacy more broadly, it includes getting us out of COVID. It includes bringing the economy back. It includes beating Big Pharma. It includes making sure that we had an infrastructure investment that we're able to do in a bipartisan way. We're talking about not just actions that the president has taken that people are going to feel today, but for generations to come. And so that's going to be his focus. I think
literally just making shit up.
Going to have a lot of thoughts on this, obviously, but there have been. We've heard quotes and support from many elected officials. I just mentioned Jim Clyburn. There was Senator Dick Durbin. He said it's a right given to the president, a power given to him under the Constitution, and Joe Biden is using it in a very humane way. I think Hunter Biden has been exploited for political purposes. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time.
Are you kidding me?
And I can certainly understand Joe Biden.
So the Republicans just made up that laptop. They just created those images and shit. That wasn't Hunter Biden. No.
President. Representative Jasmine Crockett, I think that
the political games must have been cheap fakes.
Others who have in the Democratic Party, part of the leadership, and others who have supported this president in his decision.
Just though,
Yep.
when the president is saying that he believed it was a political prosecution, does it make it easier for incoming Trump to also say that he's pardoning January 6 rioters because he believes that those are political
Look, I'm not going to get into what the incoming administration is going to do or not do. That's not something that I'm going to speak to. I've been pretty consistent about that since the election. We've been very clear about where we stand on January 6th. And so not going to get into that. But I think, and some of you have reported this,
You don't think.
His political opponents in Congress have been very clear about this. The president talks about this again in his own statement about how they took credit for bringing political pressure on the process when it came to Hunter Biden's plea deal. And so they took credit for that when it fell apart. They took credit for that. And they have said they're not going to stop. And so again, I'm not going to point to one particular reason for the president making this decision. There's been changing factors that led him to where he weighted this decision over the weekend.
And I just look at where Zeke started about the idea of preemptive pardons.
Yeah.
You clearly didn't rule that out. You confirmed that the White House is really considering that in response to
I'm not confirming anything. I'm just saying I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this issue. There's a process. I'm
are
not
you ruling out the idea of preemptive pardon?
What I'm saying is I'm not getting ahead of the president. I'm not. He's going to make announcements on pardons and commutations. That is something every president, historically, presidents do, especially at the end of their term. And so that normally happens around the holiday. So you could expect the president making a decision. What I can talk to and speak to is this particular pardon a couple of days ago of his son and what he's been able to do. I laid out some historic actions that the president has taken when it comes to pardons, when it comes to commutations over the past 4 years, as recently as this past April. I'm not going to get into hypothetical hypotheticals here. I'm not going to get into the president's
Like, it's
thinking.
not hypothetical. Have people come and asked the president for
Well,
a preemptive pardon because they're worried about
okay,
potential
so
prosecution?
what I
from
can
the Trump
say is we have
administration?
seen from advocates, right, who have been very public in lobbying the administration for certainly for pardons and clemency, commutations. We've heard from them. You all have seen it.
You
So
guys are
obviously
just
we've heard
dodging
them. I'm
accountability.
just not going
That's
to
it.
get
That's
into,
the whole deal. No matter how you
specifics of what
flower
we're
it
gonna
up,
do,
you're just dodging accountability.
The president, and I think you can understand that process that we're going to keep going. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Tam.
thank you. You mentioned that there is a process. I would love if you could spell out exactly how that process is working. Is it in conjunction with the Justice Department, who in the White House is handling it? And then you could answer whether the Hunter one was inside or outside of that process, but let's start with the process.
Well, no, I actually answered that question on Monday. The president made the decision on the pardon for Hunter Biden. The White House reached out to the Department of Justice because that has to be filed with the Department of Justice. It was the president's decision. There was no consultation with the Department of Justice. As you know, the president has the right to do this. So that was obviously a very separate process. As it relates to more commutations, more pardons, that process, obviously the Department of Justice is involved in that. There's a review process, and so that's how we're going to move forward on making those types of decisions.
And who at the White House is leading it up? Is it out of the counsel's office or is it chief of staff?
Well, look, obviously the White House counsel will be part of this process. I just don't have anything beyond that.
And just quickly, President Trump is going to be in France this weekend for the reopening of the Notre Dame, also meeting with President Macron. How does this White House view President Trump's meetings with foreign leaders happening while you're still here?
I mean, look, it's not unusual.
What the fuck is that?
As you've heard us say before.
What
you've
is
heard
that?
National
Look at
Security
that up there. What the
Council
fuck
say
is
as well.
that?
I think Jake Sullivan, when he was asked this question, the President's National Security Advisor, made that same comment. It's not unusual for when there's a president-elect for heads of states, foreign leaders to want to have that conversation with the president-elect. So I'll just leave that there. Okay, go ahead.
It looks like Tom Homan's cousin or something in drag.
Why isn't the President of the United States going to go to the reopening of the Notre Dame de Paris? Why not?
So just as you know, the First Lady is attending, and she's attending as part of her larger travel swing to Italy, UAE, and Qatar. So she will be representing the administration. They were both invited to be there for the reopening of the Notre Dame. The president had a scheduling conflict, which is why he was not able to attend. Any specifics on the First Lady's trip and what that's going to look like, I certainly would refer you to the First Lady's
The
office.
President was invited.
Yeah, he was. There was scheduling conflict, which is why he decided not to attend. But the First Lady is there, and he's very proud that she's there representing us. And anything further on her visit, certainly I would refer you to their
I have a
office.
question. Thank you, Kennedy. I also have a question on the Canadian Foreign Minister today launched the new Canada's new Arctic foreign policy, face Russia, China. 4 years later, and with the successor who seems to be skeptical, how does the president sees Canada's involvement in mutual defense and international crisis?
So look, the president values our strong partnership with Canada and their leadership to this particular announcement on addressing major challenges of our time, such as combating climate change. As you know, the president has taken that issue very seriously by putting forth one of the most historic piece of legislation that really deals with climate change in a way that we have not seen any other administration deal with it. Canada's contribution, as you all know, to Ukraine's defense and multilateral security support mission in Haiti have been consequential, and so we value the Canadians' cooperation in securing the Arctic region and that is peaceful, stable, and prosperous and cooperative, and so again we value that strong partnership, and I think they have shown leadership. Many things that they have certainly partnered with us in the past 4 years. Okay.
Thank you, Karine. On Syria, as you know, armed groups are closing rapidly on many Syrian cities and against the Assad regime. How does the White House see the outcome or the best outcome, and what messages do you have to the regime in Syria?
So we're closely monitoring the situations in Syria and have been in contact with the countries in the region. And the NSC put out a statement just last weekend. The Assad regime's ongoing refusal to engage in the political process outlined in UNSCR 2054, and its reliance on Russia and Iran created the conditions now unfolding, including the collapse of Assad regime lines in northwest Syria. So the United States, together with its partners and allies, urged de-escalation, protection of civilians and minority groups, and a serious and credible political process that can end this civil war once and for all with a political settlement consistent with UNSCR 2254. And so we're going to continue to obviously defend and protect U.S. personnel and U.S. military. That is the president that has been always very clear about that. And so obviously U.S. personnel and U.S. military, they remain essential to ensuring that ISIS can never again resurge in Syria. But more broadly, to answer your question, we're going to closely monitor the situation in Syria.
Statement, I mean, developments are happening so fast. The cities after cities are falling. So maybe by the weekend we're talking about maybe the Assad regime is not going to be there anymore.
Well, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals of what's going to happen in the next couple of days or how it's going to play out. What we are doing, we're monitoring the situation. We're taking this very seriously. You saw the statement from National Security Council just this past weekend.
I don't even know what she's saying. I'm sitting here watching the shapeshifter because I don't fucking trust it.
And so that's what I can say that we're going to do. Continue to be in touch. Continue to monitor. I don't want to get into hypotheticals from here. Sure.
As you know, the Russians have been supporting the Assad regime since the beginning. But today they said they're going to play a limited role in inverted commas. Is this a welcoming kind of statement from the White House that the Russians saying they're not supporting the regime the way they did in the past?
Look, I'm not going to get into what the Russians are doing or not doing. What we're going to do is monitor this really closely. We're going to continue to talk with the countries in the region. And remember, as I just stated, we have U.S. personnel on the ground. We have U.S. military. It is important to the president that we continue to make sure that they're safe. Their safety is considered here. I'm just not going to get into what the Russians have said and what they're going to do and not do.
Thanks, Karine. Zeke asked this question, I just didn't hear an answer. The next time that the president says he will or won't do something, why should the American people believe him?
I answered that question. I don't have anything else to add.
What is
I
your answer?
answered the question.
Can you
I
explain it
answered
in a
the
way
question.
that's understandable?
I can't speak to you understanding the question or not, or my answer or not on this. I don't have anything else to say. I'm not going to relitigate this. I did that on Monday for 30 minutes. I went back and forth. I laid out. I said, please read the president's really comprehensive statement on this. And I even said the last paragraph of that statement, he talks directly to the American people. And that's how I answered that question.
Can you acknowledge that it may have been a mistake by the president, you, to say multiple times unequivocally that he would not pardon his son?
The president laid out in that statement what changed, why his mind changed, how he wrestled with this decision. The president laid that out. I don't have anything else to add.
So that statement, he said in part, I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. Just to understand that sentence, I think it's important.
Yeah,
Is it
sure.
that the president believes in the justice system except in some cases?
He believes in the justice system. He believes the facts are, obviously I talked about the gun charges, what legal experts have said, former prosecutors have all agreed virtually no one would be criminally prosecuted for underlying factors of Hunter's case. I talked about the gun charges, I talked about the taxes, the tax cases, and there are other factors here, what Republicans have said, as they weren't going to let up. I talked about the upcoming sentencing and what Hunter and his family have been through. I talked about the appointees by the incoming president on law enforcement positions, and he wrestled with it. He did. And I also talked about what Jim Clyburn said. So you're asking me about an apology, but Jim
She's
Clyburn,
been struggling this whole press briefing. I don't know how she's going to survive the doozy.
the president said, the president was reticent. When he encouraged the president, when he himself, Jim Clyburn, encouraged the president to move forward with it, Congressman Clyburn, the president, responded to him by saying he was reticent. And so this was not an easy decision. It wasn't. It wasn't an easy decision. You know, it was a lot of circumstances here. And we can't pass over what legal experts and former U.S. attorneys have said on this. You know, and across the country, they've all basically agreed virtually. No one would be criminally prosecuted.
They agreed virtually
With these facts, and I have gone through the two important underlying facts of the cases. And, you know, I just don't have anything beyond that to add or to say. You know, I've laid out our thought process. The president has laid out his thought process, and we've talked about the case. We've talked about his thinking, and I just don't have anything beyond that.
The president just got back from a multi-day trip to Angola, where he engaged the press, I think literally one time, just to quickly confirm that he was getting briefed on the situation in Korea.
Yep.
His last foreign trip, it was 6 days in South America. As you know, he didn't engage reporters during that trip. After that last trip, he told us in his briefing room that he believes in the value of engaging the press. He enjoys it, you said. He will continue to engage reporters. There will be opportunities to talk to him. So why is it that he is avoiding reporters?
Look, we still have 45 days left in this administration. The president does. He does believe in the freedom of the press, right? He believes in that. I think we have shown in the last 4 years bringing back the norms of engaging with all of you. We have respected that process. I hope you guys think that we've tried to do the best that we can to do that. And the president he really does enjoy having a back and forth. And when the president, and I do want to say, he did take a moment to have a back and forth with all of you when he was in Nantucket with some of your colleagues who traveled with him. He did take some questions there, so it's not like he hasn't taken questions at all. He did have he did do a gaggle when he was in Nantucket around the holiday and took some questions. And so he'll continue to do that. And look, he was really focused, and many of you who've asked me this question, he was focused on his last ACONUS. He had the G20, the last G20. He had APEC, which was all incredibly important, wanted to focus on his engagement with leaders, heads of states. He did that. The trip to Africa, as you all know, was a promise that he wanted to keep, and it was a great trip with very substantive discussions, and we were able, again, to President to show his global leadership. And so I would say to all of you, you'll hear...
he went there and took a nap
from him
to show his global leadership. Okay.
Consider it upholding norms for the president to basically not engage the press in at least 2 back-to-back
What I would
trips.
say is upholding norms is what we have been able to do in the last 4 years, and I would encourage folks to look at the 4 years more broadly, and what the president has been able to do and what the president has engaged with all of you. And again, I would say, especially from here, we have always respected and want to continue to respect the freedom of the press and have a healthy back and forth. And that is the norm that I think, yes, we brought back into this from this administration. Go ahead, Karen.
These people hate being fucking normal. What are they talking about?
The administration won't be able to use up the nearly $7 billion in military aid that Congress had approved for Ukraine before the president leaves office. How much money do you estimate that will still be left when the president leaves? And is
Yeah.
the president concerned that the incoming administration is not going to get that out the door to Ukraine?
So, as you know, back in September 29th, we put out a statement. The president was very clear about wanting to surge resources into Ukraine and wanted to make sure that they had everything that they need as what was happening on the ground, the situation on the ground, circumstances on the ground was changing. And our commitment has been very steadfast. You have seen us since...
Sign language person's freaking me out.
To make announcements.
Making sexual hand signs at me.
I don't have a number for you or an estimation of how much money would be left or not left in the next, after, we've got 45 days, as I just mentioned. I would refer you to the Department of Defense to get that specific number. But we are committed to getting the money out the door. We are committed to make sure that Ukraine has the resources that it needs. As you know, we have led that. This president has led certainly that charge globally in making sure that Ukraine has the support, making sure 50 countries have gotten behind Ukraine, make sure the NATO alliance is stronger than it's ever been before. And I think you see that commitment from this president, and so we're going to continue to surge that.
With this acknowledgement that there will be funding left when he leaves, and given that this has been such a top priority for the administration and for this president, is he worried that when he leaves, that the incoming administration is going to leave this money on the table and not get it out?
And so, look, again, I'm trying to be really mindful not to get into hypotheticals or what the next administration is going to do or not do. We got to let that process move forward. What I will say and remind folks that we got that funding in a bipartisan effort, right? That's how we were able to get that funding to make sure the resources were getting into Ukraine. And so that was done in a bipartisan way. And we can't take Russia off the hook here, right? They are the aggressors here. They are the ones that went into a sovereign territory. And again, we say this all the time, this war can end today if Russia would stop their aggression. But again, it was done in a bipartisan way. We can't forget that. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you. Karine, before the election, the Senate passed a bill that would have added an additional 60 judges to the judiciary. That bill is now going to the House, and there are some Democrats who are now not supportive of that bill because it would mean President-elect Trump would have an additional 60 judges to fill. Or judge spaces to fill. What's the administration's view on that bill? Would the president sign or veto it?
And so I need to talk to the president and Office of Leg Affairs about this. I have not had that discussion about this particular bill. As you know, we have been pretty aggressive and steadfast in getting our nominated judges, qualified judges, through in the Senate process. And so we have been able to steadily do that over the past couple of weeks on this particular legislation. I just need to talk to the team. I don't want to get ahead of them.
Right. And one more on pardons.
Sure.
With having pardoned his son, some of the criticism that came from the left, including, I believe, Black Lives Matter, was that black men have been unfairly charged and imprisoned and don't have fathers who have the ability to pardon them.
That woman sitting next to him looks like she could beat him up all day.
Convicted by a jury and did plead guilty on the tax charges. Put pressure on the president, or does he feel pressure to do an even greater number of pardons this time around for people who don't have that privilege?
So there's a process. The president's going to go through it. I'm not going to get ahead of him. But again, I do want to, I hope folks don't forget what the president has been able to do, the actions that he's been able to take over the last 4 years. I went through them just to touch on them a little bit. He's issued 20 individual pardons, 122 commutations. He's issued more sentence commutation at this point in his presidency than any of his recent predecessors at the same point in the first term. This is in addition to the groundbreaking categorical pardons that the president issued to address marijuana possession, convictions, and military convictions in the LGBT+ community. And let's not forget what he was able to do in April. 11 pardons 5 commutations for individuals convicted of nonviolent drug offenses who demonstrated a commitment to rehab. And so there's going to be more to come. But what the president has done, he's shown his commitment to making sure that he takes these pardons as he has over the last 4 years in a way that is important for communities that you just spoke to. And he's talked about the criminal justice system. He's talked about he's taken actions in a way that we can address with the inequalities of the criminal justice system. And I would say that this president's commitment has been very clear on this, and has been very, has been very steadfast and has made a difference. There's going to be more to speak to in the upcoming weeks, and so certainly the president will address it.
Does he have a response to that kind of criticism?
Look, again, I just laid out what the actions.
I don't. Does he get that some people feel that their sons and daughters deserve the same?
And so I will say, and I keep going back to his comprehensive written statement because he speaks to his thought process. Obviously, I've said this many times. He speaks to wrestling with this. He speaks to the underlying factors, as I've mentioned many times from here, and he speaks to how Republicans have politically gone after his son over and over again and continue to say they're not going to stop.
Because he's a criminal crackhead.
And you've heard from legal experts who have said that if his name was Joe Smith.
I'm asking about these other people who are also in jail and were also convicted.
Right, and I've answered that by talking about the actions that the president has taken. I've answered that by pointing to the president's statements, him wrestling with this and laying out his thought process.
The whole press briefing, he's just wrestling. Old man Walter's wrestling. That's what she came here to say today. Old man Walter really wrestled with this pardon, and he's going to give more pardons, but he's really wrestling with it.
To figure out the next steps in this, and you'll hear from the president on this in the next couple of weeks. But
I fucking hope not.
We can't put aside the important notes that I made about the actions that the president has taken on issues that matter.
Just shut your whore mouth and call on Ducey so we can watch him slay you like a dragon.
He's issued more sentence commutation at this point in his presidency than any of his recent predecessors at this same point in their first terms. That matters. He's taking this very seriously, and so, that's what I hope folks would take from that. A president that's been very serious, that's taken actions, and come on, man. That's how I'm going to answer that question. Go ahead.
Thanks, Corinne. When you're standing there at the lectern, you are White House Press Secretary speaking on behalf of the president, conveying his thoughts and views of the administration, and it's for that reason that you said on his behalf all those times that he had no plans to do what he did on Sunday. Has he expressed any regret to you directly, personally, for having put you in this position and now having to go back?
Look, I understand this question, and you started off, I think the way you started off the question is basically how I feel, right? And I think all of us who work in this administration, I work for the president, I speak for the president, I comment on behalf of what he feels and thinks, and that's my job. That's my job as the press secretary, the White House press secretary, the person who speaks on behalf of the President of the United States, and that's how I feel. I feel like it's my...
Did he apologize to you?
Look, there's no apology needed, maybe, to answer that question. No apology needed. What I will say is...
You're a stupid bitch.
Talk about the legal experts, what they have said, how they agreed with the president in taking this action. You've heard me say that over and over again. I've laid out quotes from different U.S. attorneys, prosecutors, who really laid out how the underlying factors of Hunter's case would not lead to what had occurred in the past several months. And I will also say this, and you heard this president say this many times before, he believes when it comes to his family, when it comes to how he moves forward about thinking about his family. They're the beginning, the middle, and the end. And he wrestled with this. It was not an easy thing for him to decide. There's a reason why I keep bringing up Congressman Jim Clyburn, is because this is someone who spoke to the president just 2 weeks ago and encouraged him to do so, to pardon his son. And at the time, the congressman said 2 weeks ago that this president was reticent. So obviously he wrestled with this. So no apology needed from him to me.
One of the other things he often says is that voters should trust his, quote, word as a Biden. Should they still?
Yes, the president.
This was a pretty big, defiant public pronouncement by him that he wasn't going to do this anymore.
I hear you, and I understand.
He's a fucking liar.
But the president wrestled with this. He truly did. And, you know, I called out the U.S. Gov poll where 64% of Americans, that's not a small number, agree with the president's decision to pardon his son. And I think that gives you a little bit of a tiny window.
Anytime you get caught lying, just tell everyone you wrestled with it, and you're excused.
In cases involving his son, he criticized the political nature of the prosecution. The next president has spent the last several years vowing to upend the Justice Department and the FBI. Looking at their current and future presidents, why should any American continue to have confidence in the American justice system?
Well, the president does have confidence in the American justice system. And he said that in his statement. Certainly continues to have confidence in the Department of Justice.
Leaders who single out incidents that involve them or their families and say, well, that'd be unfair to me, but the rest of you should agree.
Can I just be very blunt here? The situation with Hunter Biden and what the incoming president has said are very different.
But they're making similar arguments, which is that they've been unfairly prosecuted because of who they are.
But I don't think those two things are the same. I just don't. They're not the same. They're just not.
Well, yeah, Hunter Biden's actually a fucking criminal.
Understand that. I do. I do think they believe and understand that they're not the same. What the president's son had to go through, and what we've heard from legal experts, former U.S. attorneys general, who look at this case, who understand this case, and have said, there would not be this situation. And I think that's important to note as well. And they've been very clear about this. We've heard from many of them, legal experts, former U.S. attorneys from across the country, again, have all agreed virtually no one would be criminally prosecuted with felony offenses with these facts. I talked about these facts as it relates to the gun charges and tax cases that obviously Hunter Biden's case. And so that is...
All right, just wrap it up. Just wrap it up.
You can take their word for it. Okay.
Wait. Bring that back. So Deborah Tice just told the National Press Club from a significant source in our government, Austin Tice is alive. Is that what they were told today here at the White House?
I don't have anything to share about conversation on this particular matter. What I can say, though, is that...
Because there was a meeting here today.
No, exactly. The National Security Advisor to the President, Jake Sullivan, did have a meeting with Austin Tice's family this afternoon. And Jake Sullivan has regularly met with the families of wrongfully detained Americans, so this is in line of what he has been able to do. And so we're going to continue to make sure that we get Americans who are wrongfully detained or Americans home to their families. You've seen that. I think you've seen that commitment truly from this administration, what we have been able to do certainly in the last several months over the past 4 years. And we brought home 75 unjustly detained around the world. So we work around the clock. We partner, obviously, with partnership with our allies.
I don't think she's going to call on the Ducey. I think she's avoiding him.
I don't have anything to say about that particular statement, but obviously, Austin Tice's family, I can't even imagine what they're going through right now as they think about Austin Tice, as they, I'm sure, have continued to hope and pray for Austin to come home to them. And what we have been committed to is making sure that Americans get home. 75 Americans unjustly detained around the world. We have been able to do that because of this president's leadership. And so I think that matters, and I think that shows the president's commitment.
Great.
Go ahead, I know. Yeah, where you go. Go ahead.
Ducey's literally saying her name.
Soon after the president announced the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah, President-elect Trump's team immediately, claimed credit for it. Just last week, there was a video out, released by Hamas of one of the hostages. Is the White House working with the Trump team to negotiate, the hostage crisis?
So what I can say is we're going to continue to work 24/7 as we have day and night to secure a deal. And that would certainly free the hostages, bring about a ceasefire in Gaza. And so we have been in touch with the President-elect's team to ensure that they're aware of our efforts. And so we believe they are supportive of them, the President-elect's team, and these conversations have been constructive. But we have been doing the work for some time, right? We've been working around the clock in getting that done. And so that's what we're going to continue to focus on. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everyone.
The murder of the United Healthcare CEO, can you address that briefly? The murder of the United Healthcare CEO?
Prostitute.
Are they not going to end the live? Oh, okay. Holy, what a mess. What a mess. Ducey's sitting there shouting her name. She won't even call him. She wouldn't even look at him. What a bunch of fucking sissies, man. I can't stand all that lying and crying. I knew it was going to be that way, and I knew the whole thing was going to be about Hunter Biden being pardoned. I thought she would give us more of an answer than he wrestled with it over and over and over again, but, that's how shit goes. Ain't got too many more of those press briefings left. Because Caroline Leavitt's going to take over press secretary. Coming up soon. How many days we got? Let me see really quick. Getting down. There we go. I think I was muted there for a second. Hopefully you guys heard all that bullshit. Either way, you definitely need to get these t-shirts. This design was created by Alistair. Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will make sure to post his link in the chat. That way you guys can hire him for your creative needs. Because if you think it, he can create it. This design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, dog tags, and I even made cooking aprons. Today I got on a Hooligan hoodie. I got the Hooligan 2A hoodie on, and then underneath, of course, I got the plain Jane Hooligan t-shirt. It's kind of chill in here today. So either way, I am going to be dropping the links for Alistair as well as the merch store while we're getting into this first video. Like I said, hit that thumbs up over on Rumble, and let's get this rolling.
Chelsea Manning is headed to the big house once again after protesting the outhouse, this time for protesting the Capitol Hill's new bathroom rule.
The WikiLeaks whistleblower, who famously leaked hundreds of thousands of classified documents, arrested alongside 15 other pissy protesters. Except this time, Big Daddy Barack Obama won't be there to bail Manning and friends out. All over an issue that has become wildly politicized, but is quite simple, as Nancy Mace puts it. Quote, get out of our bathrooms, stay out of women's sports, and keep your hands off our kids. Thanks. Meantime, school nurses used to hand out Band-Aids and an ice pack or some chapstick.
Can you bring me my chapstick?
No, Napoleon.
But my lips hurt real bad.
Just borrow some from the school nurse. I know she has like 5 sticks in her drawer.
I'm not gonna use hers, you sicko.
Love that movie. Now it's birth control and sex-changing drugs, and it's happening all over the country. Our next guest is sounding the alarm about taxpayer-funded school clinics that are medicalizing kids without parents' consent.
Tonight, a school district in Maine rushing through a vote that would install one of these controversial clinics.
Joining us now is the president of the parental rights advocacy group, Courage is a Habit, Alvin Louie. Alvin, what's happening and why do you think it's wrong?
Well, these government K through 12, they take it upon themselves to say they know better than parents. And as amazing and as hard to believe as it sounds, while the rest of the country and the world is pushing back against the transgender cult, the K through 12 across the country are tripling down. They find it to be their mission. They believe they're missionaries to carry this out, and their mission is your children. And so as you said, in Maine, they are voting tonight, as we speak, to install a clinic in schools to be able to offer all forms of birth control, oral, vaginal, vaccines, and then transgender drugs, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones. And the reason is because parents are unsafe and abusive if they don't agree that their child is born in the wrong body.
Alvin, how widespread are these clinics? How many states will you find them in? Are they operated by private organizations and businesses?
They do partner with private clinics, but it's all funded by taxpayers. It's funded by grants from the Department of Education, from various other grants. Every state has different grants, but a lot of it comes, obviously, most of it comes from the federal Department of Education. Like in Maine, it comes from the American Rescue Act of 2021, which is supposed to be for COVID. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, it is in most states, even if certain states might have be further along than others. Here's the 4 words I want everyone to check: whole school, whole child, community schools, and wraparound services. Whole as in like whole milk. Check those 4 words in your state Department of Education. If you find one or more of those things, it means that your state has that foundation already laid.
Yeah, community schools, I've done some research on in California, for instance. I'm not sure if they're doing this, but boy, it is bad. What should parents be doing?
They should be being involved, going to school board meetings, talking to your principal, looking these things up, and going to courageisahabit.org. We provide beautiful tools, easy to understand, easy to consume tools for parents, strategies explaining the emotional blackmail, all the different ways they trick parents, language contamination. So we teach parents, hey, listen, good parenting has always been about exclusion. So reject inclusion and embrace exclusion, and stand up for your children without apologies.
Right, and sterilization of children is not health care. Alvin Louie,
No, it's not.
thank you so much. Great to see you.
Well, apparently they're going to be trying to pull these clinics into schools. If you don't pay attention to your kids, then you'll never know. You'll never know this is going on. And like in a lot of states, we've seen over the years, teachers are excited to keep secrets with students. They want to hide secrets from parents and things like that. So if little Timmy wants to turn into Susan, they'll just send him to the school clinic, get him some hormone pills or whatever, get him on their transition, maybe even provide dresses and shit, and then just hide it from you and just lie to you about it. And it's all tax funded, so that's great. Make sure you're paying attention to schools because, like that individual said, they're sneaky with how they word everything. You may think it's just a regular school nurse there to give you some Tylenol. I've never even heard of them giving out chapstick. Anytime I was sick in school, they told you to go lay down. That was it. That was what you got. You got to go lay down. That was it. So I don't know what the fuck these people are doing, but apparently they're hurting kids. They're out here targeting kids, so make sure you pay attention to what's going on in your local schools because they're up to no good. Next up, we got an update with DOGE and what they're up to. It's titled Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene details meeting with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. But before we get into that, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about that, as well as the press briefing. Oh, wrong button here. Holy. Either way. Russell, parents need to know if their kids are taking any drugs. Absolutely, Russell. And when I was in school, you had to have a doctor's note to even get like aspirin and stuff from the school. So I don't know how they're doing this. Like, how do you give kids hormone drugs and crap like that if you're not signing permission slips? You know, if there's no permission slips, I don't know how they can even do this. Matt, yeah, what happens if the child gets sick and the parents have no clue what meds the child is on? Yeah, you would think the school would be liable, especially if that kid died or something. Of course, the school would try and hide it. They're already trying to keep secrets from parents. It's hard to say. Yeah, here, Juicer. That's what I was telling you. $600 a ticket for Electric Forest. That's actually cheap. It used to be $750 a ticket. Yeah, that's what I try to tell you here, Juicer. I might know where to get cheap bands though for Good Life, but I won't know until we get closer to Electric Forest time. Astro Hammer, Jeff needs a big red button hooked up to his PC via USB. Map his computer to be only button and mute and unmute. I already have a button that mutes and unmutes. It's not the button, it's the fucking software. The software goes through updates and it makes things, it gives it bugs. Like when we were watching KJP, I wanted to cover up that shapeshifter doing the signaling shit because I was too distracted to tell what KJP was talking about, and I realized I can't move anything on the screen. I was going to move where I was on the screen over the shapeshifter, couldn't move it. Then I was going to take KJP's picture and move it over the shapeshifter, can't move it. I don't know why. The software just doesn't want me to do it right now. Same thing with being muted when I was trying to read through the schedule. I flipped through the next scene and it automatically muted me and I didn't know. On top of that, there's audio bars, the meters that show you the audio signal. The audio signal from my microphone doesn't show anything, and that's been going on for weeks now. The only reason I know you guys you can hear me is because I don't see you guys saying I'm muted in the chat. Even like right now, it doesn't show any signal that I'm even talking to you. So I have all these ongoing software issues that are, whoever manufactures this software, it's their fucking fault, not mine. And as we're jumping through the hoops, we're having bugs. That's what's going on. So it's not about a button thing. It's the software is taking a shit on me. All visual representation that you guys can hear me is just missing at this point. It's reading through. Oh, thank you for being here, Annette. Be safe out there. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for that $1 donation over on Rumble. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, Patriot Dad. It says, Happy Freedom Friday, hooligans. I appreciate you. Bobby, did you drop some knowledge while you're muted? Oh, I dropped the schedule, but I guess it's going to be a surprise for everyone. What's up, Jump Off? Happy Freedom. Pumpkin, they're supposed to call parents even for Tylenol. Yeah, but the world's different now. Now they can just cut your kid's wiener off and not even tell you about it. Appeal to Evan. Happy freedom to you. If I had kids, minor hurts fine, but if they're giving the kids anything they want, I don't know what you're saying. Appeal to heaven. Grinch. Happy freedom to you. Little Timmy wants to become Susan and run for vice president. You're not wrong, Grinch. Bobby Hormones. Yeah, it's not the same kind. It's not the same kind. Libby Racer. Education, not indoctrination. Well, see, and this is what I was saying when they were talking about putting Bibles in schools. It's like, look what these people are doing. You want them to try and deal with the Bible? They're going to fuck that all up. So, I don't know. Also, I found out that kids aren't allowed to bring Bibles in the school. I thought that the teachers couldn't bring Bibles in the school and the teachers couldn't teach from the Bible. I didn't realize that kids simply cannot bring Bibles into school. I didn't realize that was a thing when we were covering those videos of those random states that are trying to put the 10 Commandments and the Bible and all that stuff into school. I didn't know that there was a rule against it being there. I thought that it was just about teachers trying to use it as material to teach from. I thought they weren't allowed to do that. But I guess you're not even allowed to bring a Bible into the school, which is interesting. SAPA, no parental consent means no consent at all. Yep. Well, that's like Minnesota and California being travel warning places, because if you go there on vacation and your kids decide to become shapeshifters, they can aid your kids' ideas, and if you interfere with it, you will lose your parental rights, even if you're just there on vacation. So it's like there's no point to go to California or Minnesota because they're going to try and trans your kids, and if you interfere, they'll take your rights away. They'll claim it's neglect and child abuse. MC, Department of Education. Yep. And that's why President Trump wants to do away with the Department of Education. Free the Texan, what the fuck is oral birth control? I don't really know. I don't know if they mean like taking a pill and being, sterile for a duration of time. I'm not exactly sure what they were talking about. Too old to care. Vote for Pedro. Yeah. I've only seen Napoleon Dynamite once. We actually watched it at school when I was in like 11th grade. Free the Text, I'm so glad I was raised in the 90s. I wasn't ever raised. I'm just here. I'm just here. I was given no guidelines to life. I just had to figure it out myself. What's up, Kirk Allen? Happy freedom. Stoner, he was telling y'all how to order the Lady Hooligans calendar. Yeah, Stoner. We do got some fun stuff. Let me see really quick here. Now, I don't really have this advertisement prepared, but Alistair did do something nice for us. Let me find this link really quick. Oh, let's see. If you hooligans would like to get some hooligan Christmas ornaments, definitely stop by our brand new Etsy store, Only Hooligans, so you guys can check out all this good stuff. Alistair put this together. As you can see, it really is the Only Hooligans. It is only for hooligans. And I'm going to drop this link in the chat so you guys can go check out these Christmas ornaments. Like I said, I don't have a real ad put together. Just winging it here, but definitely go check out the Christmas ornaments. Alistair's been working his ass off to put this together for all of you guys, keeping the Christmas spirit going. So definitely go check out this brand new Only Hooligans Etsy store. And thank you, Alistair, for putting all this stuff together. You're a badass. We'll read through a little bit more and we'll get on to some more news in a little bit. Alistair can't pray to Christian God either. No other religion is prohibited, though. That should tell you something. Yeah, that's crazy, Alistair. Hair juicer, the price would be justified if it wasn't just 3 days now. Well, it's usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what it usually is. But I think Thursday is like a chill day. I think they only got like 2 shows going on Thursday, and then everything really kicks off after that. But yeah, hair juicer, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm wondering if they're even going to do 2 weeks this year, because sometimes they do 2 weekends. Brussels oral is the pill. That's kind of what I was thinking. Thank you so much, Jump Offa, for that $10 donation over on Rumble. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, Jump Offa. It says, happy holidays, hooligans. Appreciate you. Thank you. What's up, Nana? Happy freedom. What's up, Green Falcon? Happy freedom to you. 69 Drummer, Hooligan Hotties 2025 calendar. We're putting it together, 69 Drummer. It's going to be me and Alistair and Trigger Crazy and thongs. That's going to be the whole calendar. Yes. You didn't know what you signed up for, but here you are. I bet you're wondering how I got here. Yeah. What's up to Rosa? Happy freedom to you. I'm waiting on my Santa Claus is coming to town t-shirt. Yeah, oh man, that is a good idea. We should put that together. We do got a t-shirt that is, I think it's gonna be released tomorrow. It would have happened today, but I got behind. Too much stuff to do today. What's up, Chaplain? Happy freedom to you. Chaplain, some school districts will allow prayer time for Muslim students. How is that fair? Yeah, Chaplain, I don't know. I don't know how that's fair. The schools here, they all do the Pledge of Allegiance and they scream the God part out. You know how like when people do the national anthem and all the Americans go, still there, like everybody shouts that part out or whatever. That's how the schools are here. When everyone says under God, and they all scream the God part out, because that was the whole reason why they did away with the Pledge of Allegiance, is because it says under God. So the schools, they do it here. They do it over the announcements. So if you're even within an earshot of the school, you can hear them doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and they scream that part out. They love God around here. If you look at old maps, the part of Michigan I'm in is considered the religious part of Michigan. There's like a church on every corner here. Everybody claims to love God. And I word it like that because a lot of people here like to play clubhouse. They get all pretentious and stick their nose in the air, and they won't let you in the door if you ain't wearing a suit and shit like that. I don't believe in playing clubhouse, but a lot of people here are religious. So if it comes to, talking about God and stuff, people, they're all about it. What's up, Lion's Heart? Happy freedom to you. Hooligans Island. Who was the first to the chat here, Jeff? I believe it was Sherry. Oh, I don't know. I was worried about the press briefing, so I'm not sure who was first here. Not today. What's up, Sage Pup? Happy freedom to you. Ooh, I gotta pull up X. I don't know why I'm so bad about that. All that effort. Ain't nobody in the chat anyways. Well, that's alright. Alistair, wait. I didn't sign up for that. Well, Alistair. By being here, you volunteered. You should have read the community guidelines when you got onto the website. It's not all that. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You got to watch 10 Man, though. He'll let you know. Got a pretty mouth. All right, we're going to get on to this next one. Like I said, this is an update with DOGE. It's a little update. Straight from Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is titled, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene details meeting with Elon Musk and Vivek ram that salami. Hit that thumbs up over on Rumble, and let's get this rolling.
Mr. Speaker, very productive meeting. Listen, I'll just say this is a very productive meeting with Republicans from the Senate and the House.
Mr. Speaker, can you come here, please?
No, I can't. I'm late for a portrait unveiling. I cannot miss that. But they're finishing up the last few comments. There'll be a lot more that's expressed in the days ahead. I doubt that Elon and Vivek are going to give many comments today because we're in the early process of this. But stay tuned for more to come.
Are you going to Social Security, yes or no?
I do not have a portrait
Social Security?
Yes, you bet.
How was the meeting in there and your role taking on as a subcommittee?
I thought the meeting went fantastic. It was exactly what we were looking for, a question and answer session with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. They were gracious with their time. Many of the members, pretty much almost all of them, lined up at 3 mics and went through the process of expressing their concerns, their frustrations, also talking about bills that they have sponsored and their ideas of how we can truly tackle this massive deficit, cut spending, and lower inflation.
What was the number one concern expressed in there overall?
The biggest concern is our debt. And as a country, it doesn't matter where you fall on the political divide. This debt is going to crush every single one of us. And to quote Elon, he said something extremely important. Every single payment that the federal government pays out, we need to be checking those payments to see if they're legitimate. And that's something that hasn't been done. I don't know if it's ever been done. There's a massive amount of waste, fraud, and abuse that we have to tackle, and I will be doing that with my subcommittee, and I am looking forward to exposing every single unelected bureaucrat, every single agency that is wasting the American people's money, and the big government departments that need to be exposed for how they're not serving the American people.
Is there a call to cut $2 trillion in spending by 2026?
We didn't mention an exact number. All we talked about was cutting spending. Elon and Vivek talked about having a naughty list and a nice list for members of Congress and senators and how we vote and how we're spending the American people's money. I think that would be fantastic. But one thing is for sure, if we can cut spending, we'll be lowering inflation, and that'll be good for everyone.
When do you start work on your subcommittee? When does that kind of start?
Well, as we all know, the next Congress will convene on January 3rd. It'll take a few weeks to do the order of business, setting up committees and subcommittees, and then we'll be getting ready to roll towards the end of January.
Did Musk say that he would expose and shame Republicans for not cutting spending? I know that Chip Roy said that he had proposed that and Musk had agreed with him. Did he agree with him?
Elon said that he said a good list and a naughty list. They also have great ideas that they'll be working on with DOGE. Now, this will be separate from Congress. They're talking about communicating with the American people, perhaps maybe even a weekly podcast or a report, so to speak. They want to bring in members of Congress and senators and let the American people hear from them about their ideas and the programs that they're trying to work on, bills they're trying to pass. But the biggest, most important thing that Elon wants to bring forward for the American people is information. His big concern that he talked about today is how many Americans don't even know that we have a deficit or a debt of $36 trillion. And he feels like if we can educate the American people, getting the American people on board, it puts the right pressure where it belongs on the House and the Senate to do this job correctly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, a little follow-up on what's going on with DOGE, straight from MTG. I'm excited to see how things turn out once President Trump takes over, but it's good to see them getting to work now. President Trump's not even in office, and DOGE is already doing what they're going to do. Plus, they've been saying that this is not a permanent thing, that this is going to last for a year or so, maybe a little bit more, and then they're going to do away with DOGE, because once DOGE does what they're there to do, there won't be a need for the department anymore, so then they will be DOGing themselves, because the whole point is to cut unnecessary spending. So there's no need for DOGE to stick around after they optimize the government. So it's nice to see them already getting to work. I can't wait to see President Trump and everybody else get to work. Now, of course, we've got to wait for Inauguration Day. But that's why I made sure to put this on the schedule, because we actually already have part of the team getting to work, which is badass. Next up, we got, let me see here, disappointing. Trump to sit down with NBC for the first interview since winning the election. Now he's going to be sitting down with, oh my God, something the press. I can't even think what it's Meet the Press. And they're talking about how that sucks because it's liberal media and all of that. So either way, it's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat and see what you hooligans think about what Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying about what DOGE has going on. Russell, I'd be on her naughty list. Russell. Yes. Hair juicer. I'm in a blue county. I don't believe it. I'm not sure what you're responding to. Zero. MTG looks happy. That's good. She does look. I feel like everybody looks more happy. After President Trump won the election, it's like we came out of the Great Depression or something. It seems like everybody is more happy. Hey, be safe out there, 10-man. Zero. They're not even in there yet, and effing committees are bogging them down. Yeah, Zero. That's probably why they got a head start, is they knew that it was going to turn into a mess. Era 16, happy freedom to you. I own none. Oh, wait a minute. I own none of the national debt and will not be held responsible for it. Yeah, Era 16. We didn't contribute to the debt. It's the people on Capitol Hill that don't know how to spend money correctly. Free thinking Texan. Jeff likes being dominated. Sometimes. Sometimes. I don't like hanging out with sissies. Just saying. Matthew, where's Fetterman at? He's actually gotten some spotlight. Let me see. I don't think we got him on the schedule today. But there is a clip of him. I can't remember if it's in a video that we have today or not. It might be. We might see Fetterman in one of these videos. But there is a video going around with Fetterman claiming, well, he tries to sympathize with old man Walter. And he's saying, well, yeah, it was all political with Hunter Biden, so, you know, that's why he got a pardon. But Fetterman also thinks that Trump should get a pardon from Biden on the New York cases that are going on, because Fetterman believes that they were politically motivated. Now, he thinks the Hunter Biden ordeal is politically motivated too, which I don't. He's actually a fucking criminal. But he's like, well, I think Hunter Biden's political, but I think the Trump one's political too, and thinks that old man Walter should give a pardon. I don't see that happening, but Fetterman, he's around. He's around pissing people off. Here, Juicer, I hate seeing MTG. I like her, but my ex looks exactly like her. Oh, yeah, here, Juicer. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. You were dating MTG's doppelganger. Mm-hmm. Free the Texan. Trump winning took a lot of dread and weight off our shoulders. Absolutely, free the Texan. I just think it's crazy that you can see it. You know, you can see it when you're out and about. People look happier. You know what's really interesting? I don't even know why this popped in my head. I've been treated like I'm a cop for like the last 2 or 3 months. And I've been wearing the same coat and hat. And I'm sure you guys have seen me out and about and whatnot. I've shown you pictures and stuff. My coat, black, Carhartt, Michigan flag, American flag, pins. My hat, black beanie with the Michigan logo, but it's got the stars and stripes on it. And I've had people opening the door for me, holding the door on the way out, letting me cut in line. I'm just all kinds of stuff. Calling me sir. I think they think I'm a cop. I'm just patriotic as fuck. I don't know. You gotta wear your stars and stripes. It makes people happy. It does. It makes people happy. I need to get myself a MAGA hat. See how I'm treated then. I was actually behind a truck yesterday driving in the snow. We've had a terrible snowstorm, but starting tomorrow it's going to be 40 degrees out and all the snow is going to melt. But I was behind a truck that had a huge Trump flag of Trump doing the fight fist and all that stuff. I'm like, man, it's so badass. I love seeing happy Americans. DeRosa, Congress is going to get coal in their stockings. Well, yeah, we'll leave it there. Yeah, I was going to escalate it. Probably shouldn't do that with Congress, but yeah, you're right. DeRosa, how cute, a naughty and a nice list. I want to know who's making the nice list. What's up, Two Ruby Shoes? Happy freedom. Two Ruby Shoes. Shape-shifting meds allowed, but the Bible's banned. Give me a break. Yeah. Well, people have been saying for decades that schools have gone downhill ever since they took God out of school. Now, I don't know. I'm only 35. There's never really been God in school while I've been there, but they used to teach gun safety. They used to teach driver safety. They used to teach mechanics. They used to teach all kinds of stuff in school, and now they just teach you how to turn your wiener inside out and pledge allegiance to a rainbow flag. And that's about it. They tell you that if you can't kill babies, that your rights are being taken away. What's a school for? Wayne, DOGE will be AI based in a few years, an AI entity. It's not even going to be around for a few years. DOGE is only supposed to be around for a year or so, and once they complete their task, they're doing away with it. It's not supposed to be something that's gonna stay. What's up, Skulls? Happy freedom to you. 00, we're winning. We are. What's up, Dirtbike Freedom? Happy freedom to you. Wayne, NASA's about to get downsized. Huge. I'm thinking so. They were, I don't know if they were live, but they put a video out yesterday or today saying they were delaying some mission that they were going to do. That seems like that's all they do. They make plans for a mission, then they show up on the day of the mission or the week of the mission, and then say that they're going to delay the mission. And that's it. Like they said, we're going to go back to the moon. Then we didn't. So I don't know. I don't believe any of that nonsense. I hardly believe anything at this damn point. Everything we've seen, everything they've lied to us about, I almost don't believe anything. I don't believe in space. I don't believe in shit. I don't think the Earth's flat or round. Nah, it's, who knows? It's shaped like a titty. It's shaped like a set. I don't know. I just don't believe shit anymore. Here, Juice, everyone thinks I'm a cop at festivals until I eat a handful of drugs. Yeah, here, Juice, that's how you gotta prove yourself. That's how you do it. Prove you're not a cop. All right, give me the shit, but I ain't paying for it. That's how you do it. You gotta work out a deal here, Juicer. Thank you, Snooks. I appreciate the compliment. Sitting here reading through you guys' conversation. True American, we've never been to the moon. I don't know about any of it. I know it doesn't make any sense to have gone to the moon when we went, and now we don't have the ability to go there. I know none of that makes sense. Zero, it's a good price for all those ornaments. I think there's different ways you can order. I haven't had a whole lot of time to check out the store. Alistair had just put that stuff together, so it's still new. But definitely go check out those ornaments if you guys want a chance to be able to receive them before Christmas. I think we have enough time for all of that. Like I said, we're also going to have some new shirts coming out tomorrow, maybe even tonight. We're going to do the voice chat tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time over on jeffmaclive.com. So make sure you get yourself a membership so you can join us for the voice chat. But I might put the shirts together during the voice chat, and then all of you hooligans at the voice chat, you'll have first dibs on the new shirts that we're putting together. We're going to get into this next video here. It's titled Disappointing. Trump to sit down with NBC for first interview since winning the election. This is really just an update on President Trump. The video, well, they're saying that the recording is going to happen today, but it won't be released to the public until Sunday. We're not going to be live on Sunday because we don't go live on Sunday. So on Monday, most likely, we'll be playing clips, if not the entire interview, from it being released on Sunday. Now that's going to debate on how long the interview is and stuff like that, but chances are that's how it's going to go. Now, once again, this is titled Disappointing. Trump to sit down with NBC for first interview since winning the election. Hit that thumbs up over on Rumble and let's get this rolling.
Look, Trump announced over the weekend that Kash Patel would be his pick to lead the FBI. Like many of his other picks, Kash's past is resurfacing and many are concerned. Do you think he will get confirmed?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, look, also Kash got some great timing on this. You were just covering with, I think earlier, some of the other picks and the troubles that they're having. And Kash, I think, is somebody who might have divergent views than some people, but he has a commitment to shaking up the FBI and restoring justice and fairness to an institution that needs it right now. And there's widespread support. Remember, Republicans enjoy a 53-seat majority in the new Senate. They'll be able to get them done. And so far, there hasn't been a single Republican senator that has expressed concern. The Democrats won't vote for him, but the Republicans will.
Yeah, maybe he's lucky, as you point out, that some other people are taking more heat. Look, Trump becomes the president of the United States in 45 days and counting. What do you make of his progress so far, even before taking office? Because he's already made a few waves.
He has. And I think, that's who he is. I've told people before, you should never use the word norms or tradition and Donald Trump in the same sentence. He's going to continue, whether it's the tariff talk and trying to get a better deal for America, some of the other trade issues that he sees as being unfair. He's going to continue to get things straight, trying to end these wars, both in Ukraine and in Gaza, before he takes office. But I have a feeling, and mark my word, on January 20th, at 12:01, there's going to be an unprecedented flurry of activity, the likes of which not just our country, but the world has ever seen. He will have executive action and executive orders lined up to implement change right away. And I don't think anyone should sit back and relax on that afternoon, because there's going to be a lot of activity.
Well, we will be watching very closely all the way from here too. Now, Trump is set to sit down for his first network interview since winning the election, and it's with NBC News' Meet the Press this weekend. Sean, did it surprise you that he's doing that with NBC?
It disappointed me more than it surprised me. I think that Donald Trump can do any interview with any person and crush it. But we should not be rewarding our enemies. Meet the Press is the worst show on American television right now, and that's beating out a lot of bad shows, right? Week after week, they have shown an anti-Trump bias in how they cover President Trump and his allies and supporters and policies. We should not be rewarding them. There's a lot of media outlets right now that could provide insight into President Trump, his agenda, his policies, his personnel, and to reward Meet the Press after the despicable coverage is, to me, something that should be reconsidered. This is the only thing so far that I can take issue with. I know why he's doing it. It's a legacy outlet and a legacy show, the longest running television program, but we should not be rewarding bad behavior. And I'm disappointed that Meet the Press is getting it. There are so many other outlets that could have done a better job informing the American people and, frankly, the world about Donald Trump's agenda for the next 4 years, and I wish it hadn't been Meet the Press.
What are you expecting out of that interview? Do you think they're going to give him a fair go at all?
Oh, no. It's going to be unbelievably contentious. He'll do well, don't get me wrong. It's not a question of, so this is going to be extremely contentious. The host tries to audition for the far left every time she goes on air. So she's going to come at this very, very combative. Donald Trump will do very well, as he does. But I expect a very combative interview. It's going to get taped tomorrow, Friday, here in the States, and it won't air till Sunday. So I'm sure we'll see some clips. But I just don't expect much from it at all.
Well, we'll see what happens. Sean Spicer, thank you so much for your time.
So like I was saying, and like they said at the end of the video there, it's going to be recorded today, but it won't be released to the public until Sunday. And chances are Monday for Coffee with Hooligans, we will be covering clips from it, or maybe the whole thing. It depends on how it goes. Let me see here. Next up, we got a follow-up on Daniel Penny's trial. It's titled, Jury Deadlocked on Manslaughter Charge in Jordan Neely Chokehold Death. Like I said, it's a follow-up. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about President Trump doing this Meet the Press interview. Some things I was wondering is like, why now? Why do the interview now? Why not wait till after Inauguration Day? Also, who do you hooligans think that would have been a better choice than Meet the Press? Who would you like to see interview President Trump? He's already been on Joe Rogan and all of that. But if not Meet the Press, who would you like to see him being interviewed by? Now, before we get into the chat, I want to remind you guys really quick, if you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out, as we're making Saturdays more fun. We're going to read through the chat. We got to follow up with Daniel Penny coming up next. Russell, Meet the Press is a horrible show. I don't even know what it is. I want to see him on The View. I want to see President Trump on The View. That's who I want to see interview him. Is those wicked women. Not that I want to throw President Trump into the fire, but I just want to see their faces when they're asking President Trump questions and he's letting them have it. Snooks, Trump is smart to be doing that. It's a big FU to them. Yeah, I agree. Sir, I hope Trump gets an original copy to disprove the bad edits. It's hard to say, Zero. It's hard to say. I'm sure if they try to do something, wrong with it, he'll be fighting against it because he was pissed about how they did Harris. She did a terrible interview, and then it got all edited and all of that. I think it was 60 minutes. They edited and changed her answers and stuff, and he was talking about how that's wrong. And so maybe if they do it to him, maybe he'll go after him for like defamation of character or something like that. Zero, the normies will watch, lefties too. They're going to realize that they've all been lied to. That'll be interesting, seeing them all getting red-pilled on their own show. Alistair, that's why he's doing it. It's like a big fuck you to them. Yep, I think you're right. Russell Cash is a powerhouse. He's a badass. That's what I keep hearing. I'm expecting good things from Cash Patel. Your juicer, the only reason I use cocaine is to gain trust. I've never done that stuff. I've never ever done cocaine. I would do Molly to gain some trust, but then I'm going to say some funny shit afterwards. So I don't know. It's been a long time since I had to gain some trust. Zero, The View. I think you'd do awesome on The View. Picture Dad. No, Jeff Mack should get the interview. What, like I'll interview President Trump? I'd interview President Trump. Do it in a heartbeat. Appeal to Heaven. Those bits on The View should be shut down. It should be shut down. They keep having all these legal issues and stuff, making Sunny Ho give those apologies and whatnot because she's always talking out of the side of her neck. She's talking about MAGA and saying untrue things to the point where she has to turn around and give legal apologies. Green Falcon, the baby boomer generation has been asking to see more of Trump. Yeah. Well, we were covering him like 3 times a day, 4 times a day. And then he's just been gone since election night. Space Baby Fry, by the way. What are you saying? I don't know what you're saying, Space Baby. That's what I said. It's going to be recorded today and it's going to come out Sunday. What's up, Hidu? Happy freedom. Pumpkin. Trump's going to tell them they're all losers. Probably. 69 Drummer, can't wait for the self-deportations to start. People heading south to the border. I haven't heard of anybody self-deporting other than like Ellen DeGenerate and whoever. I guess she moved to the UK with her wife or something, and then their mansion flooded while they were over there. Good for them. They deserve it. Bobby, the naughty list is very long. Oh, I'm sure it will be. Cricket Kiss, rats are running off the sinking ship. Oh yeah, everybody's changing their tune right now. Trying to kiss ass and try and get in good with President Trump before he gets into power. Cricket Kiss dismissed the manslaughter charge. I'm trying to think what all they're charging him with. I mean, we'll know here in a second. They're charging him with multiple crimes though. But they should dismiss these charges. I just don't know that they're going to. DeRosa, I want The View to interview him. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Master Black, nothing like a key bump of trust. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. What's up, Miss Gen X? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Shanti? Happy freedom. Lion's Heart Redacted. Is that a show? I think I've heard of Redacted. I've never seen it. I don't watch podcasts and stuff. I've never even seen Dan Bongino. I should, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't. I have to give it a gander though. 00, possibly Megyn Kelly or Maria. I don't know how you say the name. Bortorimo. Is those Fox? Is Maria's Fox, isn't it? I assume he will be doing some Fox interviews. He's probably just You get more publicity if you walk into the lion's den. I think that's why he's doing it. Visions, free Penny, absolutely. Mitchell, Alex Jones, that would be hilarious. Seeing President Trump on Alex Jones. Bring Tucker Carlson with him, it'd be a good time. Visions Fox, yeah. I assume he'll be on some Fox interviews. I think he gets more publicity being on liberal interviews. Snooks. But if you interview Trump, could you leave your stick alone? They'll let me flip my chapstick while I talk to President Trump. It'd be fine. They'd probably handcuff me to the chair, though, just because of my criminal record, but it'd be fine. It'd be fine. Russell, you should interview him. I would. If I had the opportunity, I would. Matt, the legal department is correcting Sunny so fast she's reading the legal statements during the same live show. Yeah, Matt. The words leave her mouth, and all of a sudden she gets a piece of paper slid on the desk there. $69 Drummer, you gonna live stream the peaceful protests if they let him go? It'd be like old times. I don't know if we're gonna get protests if they free Daniel Penny, but we'll be definitely live streaming it. I don't know if we'll show it on Twitch and YouTube because those platforms are soft as baby shit, but we'll definitely show it everywhere else. 69 Drummer, Trump on Sean Ryan show would be epic. I've never seen that, but I believe you. Lion's Heart Redacted is on Rumble and YouTube. Thank you for letting me know, Lion's Heart. I think I've heard of it a couple times. I haven't seen any of those shows. What's up, Crab Nebula? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans, I think we're going to move on to this next video here. Like I said, it's a follow-up with Daniel Penny. It's titled Jury Deadlocked on Manslaughter Charge in Jordan Neely Chokehold Death. Now, they're talking about giving the jury an Allen charge or something. I don't know what the hell that is. They try to explain it in this video, but I still don't know what it is. I'm going to look it up while they're talking about it. But either way, hit that thumbs up over on Rumble, and let's get into this.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 11:38 on the East Coast and 8:38 on the West Coast. I do want to get to the latest on the Daniel Penny trial right now, as we are getting some breaking news coming in from our Fox 5 New York station. The jury in the Daniel Penny case told the judge that they could not reach a unanimous decision on count 1 of the charges against him in the subway chokehold trial. The judge is determining how to move forward and deciding whether to give the jury an Allen charge. That is a court instruction given to a deadlocked jury to encourage them to reach a unanimous verdict. Now, as far as the background here, we know that Penny does face second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide charges. If the jury finds Penny guilty, he could face up to 15 years in prison. There is no minimum sentence, and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office also reached out to Fox 5 New York to report that there is also no mandatory prison sentence for Penny's charges, but it's unclear how that could affect sentencing. Do you want to pop this up right here on your screen? Not much to it, but as of right now, you can see Fox 5 New York has posted breaking news. The judge is determining how to move forward and deciding whether to give the jury an Allen charge, which I just described for you. Now, as far as the rest of the case, we know this all happened on May 1st of 2023. Penny had left class and boarded an Uptown F train in Manhattan to head to the gym. Neely was on board the train, and witnesses said that he was shouting about needing food and something to drink before whipping his jacket to the floor and starting to scream. They differed in descriptions of his movements and whether they were threatening. That depended on who you actually spoke to on the train. We're told Penny stepped in and approached Neely from behind. With the help of 2 other passengers, Penny pinned Neely to the ground and placed him in a chokehold until Neely's body went limp and he lost consciousness. All of this information, by the way, coming in from police. Now, the medical examiner's office ruled the death a homicide caused by compression of the neck. The train stopped at the Broadway Lafayette Street station in Manhattan, allowing passengers to get off, but Penny did not let go. Prosecutors and the defense both agree that Penny had the right to step in, but prosecutors argue that Penny used too much force on an unarmed man. The prosecutor told jurors at the start of summations Monday that Daniel Penny used too much force for too long on Neely, holding him in a chokehold for about 6 minutes. Prosecutors argued that he could have released Neely after passengers stepped off the train at the station once he was no longer a threat to anyone on board. Now, as for the defense, the lawyer, Stephen Razor, says that Penny acted to save subway riders from threatening behavior. They argued that Penny held onto Neely until police arrived so they could take him into custody. They also claim that the chokehold was not what killed Penny, instead arguing that schizophrenia, synthetic marijuana use, and sickle cell trait led to his death. What we know about Penny is that he is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and he is from Long Island. He served in the Marines for 4 years and was discharged in 2021. At the time of Neely's death, Penny was studying architecture. Now, Jordan Neely was 30 and was once among the city's core of subway and street performers and was actually known for his Michael Jackson impersonations. But after his mother was violently killed when he was a teen, Neely was diagnosed with depression and schizophrenia, was repeatedly hospitalized, struggled with drug abuse, and had a criminal record that included assault convictions. During that month-long trial, the jury heard testimony from subway passengers who witnessed Penny's roughly 6-minute restraint of Neely, as well as police who responded to it. We also heard from pathologists, a psychiatric expert, a Marine Corps instructor who taught Penny chokehold techniques, and Penny's relatives, friends, and fellow Marines. Penny chose not to testify. Jurors did watch that video recorded by bystanders, which you saw drawings of there, and by police body cameras, and saw how Penny explained his actions to officers on the scene and later in a station house interview room. All of this, by the way, once again, happening on May 1st of 2023. Now, if you are just joining us here, we do have that breaking news that we are following as the judge is essentially deciding what to do next, because the jury in the Daniel Penny case told the judge that they could not reach a unanimous decision on count 1 of the charges against him in that subway chokehold trial. So the judge is determining how to move forward and deciding whether to give the jury an Allen charge, which is a court instruction given to a deadlocked jury to encourage them to reach a unanimous verdict. We will, of course, bring you any updates on this from the courtroom as soon as we do get them. We do have our Fox 5 New York team that is inside the courtroom gathering the latest details. Do have to head to a quick break now at 11:44 on the
Well, that's a follow-up with Daniel Penny there. They use a lot of fancy lingo, but it doesn't mean anything. This Allen charge or whatever just means the judge is going to tell them to figure their shit out. Like, I just Googled it, and that's kind of all it says. Is that basically the jury can't come to a verdict. They're all disagreeing on a specific subject. In this case, it's his first charge, which I think is the manslaughter charge. They can't figure it out. So the judge is going to tell them to figure it out. I can't find any more details than that. I just Googled it, and then, like in the video, they're just, well, the judge is going to give them an Allen charge, and they're going to figure it out. So I Googled, what's an Allen charge? Oh, it's the judge telling them to figure their shit out. Oh, okay. Like, they ain't already know that? I don't know. Messy. Courts in New York. We'll see how it goes for Daniel Penny. I don't think it should be that hard to figure out. The one part of it that does sound sketchy is the fact that the train car stopped, and everyone got off the train, and Daniel Penny was still sitting there putting him in the chokehold. I think that sounds kind of sketchy. Like, I don't know. And they're saying that the reason he did that is because he didn't think it was safe to let him go until the authorities were there to take over detaining him. But if he was unconscious, then, you know, I don't know. That seems a little sketchy there, and I think that's probably what's hanging him up. Is the fact that he held on to the guy too long. They keep talking about it, but I didn't realize that he held on to the guy that long. I figured it was, until the train stopped or whatever, but I didn't realize everybody got off the train. You got grown men laying together on the floor of the subway, waiting for police to show up. I don't know. It might be too much. But either way, I still think he's innocent. Compared to Jordan Neely, who's a career criminal. He's got all kinds of problems. He was fucking homeless, and his family didn't care about him until he died. And now all of a sudden it's a big deal. So I don't know. I still think they should let Daniel Penny go. I don't think he intentionally did anything wrong. I think he was defending himself and the other people on the subway. And you know, that's what happened. That's what he did. He did defend himself and the others. So I don't know. It seems pretty simple. Even with the sketchy timing situation, Jordan Neely wouldn't be in that position if he wasn't over there acting like an asshole. So it is what it is. He signed up for it. He got what he asked for. I don't know what they're really deliberating about, but either way, just waiting on that verdict for Daniel Penny. Next up, we got Federal Appeals Court upholds law requiring sale or ban of TikTok in the U.S. This has been we've been following up on this, but it died for the whole campaign. The whole presidential campaign killed all this news because Hyena Harris and President Trump were both campaigning on TikTok. Now, President Trump says that he's not for the ban. He doesn't want TikTok to be banned. He thinks that it is against free speech to ban TikTok. Now, the White House and Biden and all them, they're the ones that are claiming that TikTok's bad. Even though they all have accounts on TikTok, they claim that TikTok's bad. Now, they say it's bad because of the CCP. And as I always say, they don't care about the CCP being in your backyard because they let them come across the border, no problem. But they don't want CCP in your phone. For some reason, that's a big fucking problem. Well, it must not be that big because it's on Harris's phone and they don't care about that. And she's the fucking vice president. So, you know, it is what it is. But either way, our follow-up with TikTok is coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about what's going on with Daniel Penny. Let's see here. Boom, there we go. What's up, Turbo? Happy freedom to you. Snooks, the judge just dropped the manslaughter charges against Penny, CBS says. Oh, that's awesome. So I don't even know what else he's being charged with. I think that was the big charge. Interesting. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Hell yeah. Drop the manslaughter charge. So, what is it? Negligence homicide or something like that, I think they said. Which I've never even heard of that. Let me see. This is also in New York. Let's see what they say about this. In New York City, negligence homicide, also known as criminally negligent homicide, is a Class E felony punishable by up to 4 years in state prison and substantial fines. According to the New York Penal Law 125.10, a person is guilty of criminally negligent homicide when a criminal negligence they cause the death of another person. Let's see. The defendant failed to perceive a substantial risk that their actions or inactions would result in another person's death. This failure must constitute a gross deviation from the standard of care expected of a reasonable person in similar circumstances. Defendant's criminal negligence directly led to the death of another person. He might get that. He might get that. I don't know how he's not going to get that because of how long he held on to Jordan Neely. So if they give him this, he'll be looking at 4 years. That doesn't mean that he'll actually get 4 years. They could give him a lesser sentencing, but it looks like that's what he's looking at. It's better than 15 years, though. Hair Juicer, why the fuck would you not leave the train regardless of destination? Well, he did, but he was detaining Jordan Neely. So I don't know. That's the rough one. Because if I had somebody in a headlock and the train came to a stop, right then I'm letting them go. Because we all have access to flee. Right? Like what I got into where that guy was chasing me in the car, telling me he was going to kill me, and he chased me across 2 different area codes or zip codes. I could have stood my ground, but I didn't know that. Because if you're able to flee, you're fine. But when he cornered me in the Wesco parking lot and he almost hit me a head-on collision in my Subaru, I could have got out of the car and smoked him right there in the street. I just didn't know it. I thought I wasn't able to because of the circumstances. But if you get to a point where you can no longer flee and you're in a state that stands your ground, your first obligation is to flee from danger. If you can't, you can stand your ground and use lethal force. Now, I didn't know exactly what the guidelines were at the time. Otherwise, that guy who was chasing me wouldn't be alive anymore. But in the case with Daniel Penny, right, they couldn't flee. They were stuck on a subway car that was already in motion. Once it stops and the doors open up, then they have a cause to flee. You can escape danger. And instead, he detained him on the floor. He continued to do that. So he might get fucked with that charge. I don't know. I still think that he should be let go because he was trying to do the right thing. And that's what sucks about the law, is that they don't teach you the law. You just got to live in this fucking world full of laws. And when your life is in danger, you're not exactly picking up your phone to go Google what the laws are and how they work and all that. And even if you do have the time to Google the law, it's written so shitty that you don't even know what you can and can't do. All you know is you don't want to die and you don't want someone else to die. And so you got to just make the best of it. And that's what I think Daniel Penny did. And they're trying to catch him on these technicalities and shit. When he wasn't out there hunting down people, he was trying to keep himself safe. He was trying to keep other people safe. He did it the best way to his ability, and the other guy fucking died from it. Wham. Too bad. They should let Daniel Penny go, because it's not like he got on the train looking for murder, right? He was just trying to be a good person, dealing with the cards he was dealt. And so I think they should let him go. Mr. B. New, flee and let that guy assault others? Fuck that. No, that's not what I was saying. If Jordan Neely's a threat to everyone, people can't flee unless the train is stopped and the doors are open. When the train stops and the doors are open, the public who was on the car, who Daniel Penny was defending, they were able to flee. Therefore, there was no longer a threat to pedestrians, because pedestrians were no longer on the car. It was just Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely laying on the floor together. At that point, he could have let him go. He could have still stood by. He could have let him go and then stood there to make sure everything was fine. But instead, he kept him in that chokehold, even though nobody else was in danger at that point because there was no one else on the train. I don't mean flee and just let the bad guy be there. I'm saying to no longer put him in a compression hold where ultimately he died. Appeal to Evan. Stand on my ground. Won't flee. That's just murder then. That's the thing. Somebody comes to attack you and you just smoke them. You don't try and leave. You don't try and get away. That's murder. Because that's what sucks about the law. I've been to court a lot. I've been there a lot. And they've all been for violent crimes because I believe in real justice. You cut me in line, I'm cutting your hands off. Like, I've always been that way. And I've had to serve time for it. So trust me, as much as I'd love to just be able to get out of my car and shoot people every time I get mad, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to be the victim first. People love poking the bear, even though you know what happens when you poke the bear, you get mauled, right? But not everyone knows you're a bear. So you have to be the victim first. And when they come poking the victim, now you get to be the bear. That's how it goes. You got to be the victim first or else you're the aggressor. I've had to learn the hard way a lot. A lot. Snooks, what do you want me to say? I read it, Snooks. I read your comment. Mr. Binu, don't be an asshole and you won't get choked out. That's right. That's right. That's how I feel too. If people would just behave themselves, everything would be fine. What's your name? What's up, Bibbs? Happy Freedom. Interdimensional. They're going to be determined to charge him with something in order to save face. Yeah. Interdimensional, I think they're going to also. I think that they're going to give him something. They're not going to let him just walk away. But they could, because if you look at the BLMers out front who are organizing and claiming, Daniel Penny's a white supreme pizza, He got on the subway car looking for blood. He murdered Jordan Neely because originally they were asking for the charges to be escalated from manslaughter charges to first-degree murder charges, which obviously didn't happen. Now it's been, I mean, they had a whole year to organize their little protest they got going on outside of the courthouse. There's a whole 12 people standing out there after a year of being able to organize this shit. So I don't think the court has to save face. I think the court should just let Daniel Penny go. But with it being New York, and we see how things go there, chances are they are going to charge him with something. I think the 4-year charge is probably the biggest thing he's looking at, but I could be wrong. It's hard to say. And just because he gets the 4-year charge, that negligence homicide or whatever, that doesn't mean he has to actually get the 4 years. They can give him a year and just call it, you know. So I don't know. I think you're right, though. I think that they are going to give him something, but I don't think that they're in a position where they really have that much pressure on them. You know, like with George Floyd, we knew that Derek Chauvin was going to get something. We knew he wasn't going to be innocent. There's like 200 people standing outside the courthouse ready to eat him alive. So the court felt obligated to do something, or else they were worried they're going to burn the courthouse down. I don't think this is the same situation, but it is still New York. Zeiser, he got refused first aid. That's why I keep seeing a lot of people say that the police on the scene, they didn't want to provide first aid because he was dirty or whatever. So they should be held liable too if that's going to be the situation. Because the biggest thing that happens when we cover police-involved shootings, which back in the 2020 we were covering a lot more of those than we do now. But every time that happens, one of the first things they talk about is, did they try and resuscitate the person that was shot? And if they didn't, if the cops shot them, killed them or whatever, and then did not try to resuscitate them right after putting them down, then they act like the police are terrible, terrible people and all this other stuff. So yeah, if the police showed up, Daniel Penny's got him in the chokehold, and the police aren't trying to resuscitate him, well, that's just as much the police officer's fault as it is Daniel Penny's fault, because they were there, they could have provided aid, and they chose not to because Jordan Neely smells like shit. And so, it's, I don't know. I think they should be questioned too. Zeiser, is he even from New York City? Jordan Neely is, but Daniel Penny's from Long Island or something. He's from somewhere, I don't know. They said it in that video. I mean, he must be from the area because he was on the subway to go to work out or something like that. I doubt he went all the way to New York City just to hit the gym. He must live out there. Wayward, he could have attacked Penny. I think holding him was okay, maybe not choking, especially if he was gone. Yeah, Wayward. Well, that's what I mean. Like, after they opened the doors and they let everybody go off the subway, he didn't really need to choke him anymore, because it was just between, you know, it's a Marine versus a crackhead. And he didn't need to do that anymore. There's nobody else on the train, you know, but I don't know. Hair Juicer, woohoo, cutting hands off reminds me of another fucked up story. You're funny, Hair Juicer. I can't ever tell you guys real stories and stuff because I have to worry about incrimination and stuff like that. I've gone to court a lot, and I'm glad I don't have to go anymore. I used to talk with my hands a lot more with my voice. I've had to learn in my old age to talk with my words. Use my words. I prefer to use my hands because people suck. People suck, and they're fucking stupid, and they deserve to be taught a lesson. But when you don't get involved, it's much more sweeter, because then they can go off and be dumbasses on their lonesome, and they don't have to interfere with your life. And that's what I've learned about using words. You can use words and you don't have to go to jail. It's not the best of options, but keeps you free. Either way, next up, if my mouse would wake up. Let me see where we're at here. Oh yes, TikTok being banned. Now before we get into this TikTok ban, I want to remind you guys really quick. If you hooligans have children in your life, I want you to check out these books titled A Dog Named Cappy. A Dog Named Cappy comes in a rhyming book, but you can also get it in a Christmas activity and coloring book for kids that enjoy using crayons and markers and being creative. A Dog Named Cappy rhyming book is available in paperback, but you can also get it on Kindle if you prefer a digital copy. You can get the Dog Named Cappy Christmas activity and coloring book available on Amazon. If you hooligans do pick up these books, please leave reviews on Amazon and then also follow them on their X page to stay up to date with new books coming out, as well as helping them grow. Cappy is a real dog who lives here in Michigan with the illustrator's grandmother, and it would really mean a lot to them if you hooligans would go check out their books. So give me a second here. Let me drop these links really quick. This first one here is for the paperback version. There's the paperback version. This link here is for the Kindle version if you prefer digital copies of books. This link here will take you to the Christmas activity and coloring book that I think is good for hooligans of all ages. What's up, Cool Frog? Happy Freedom to you. And this last link here is to go follow them on X. So definitely go follow them on X. Help their account grow. Stay up to date with new books coming out. Like I said, we read A Dog Named Cappy, I think 2 weeks ago in the voice chat. And last week we read A Dog Named Betsy. So definitely go follow them on X. Check out their books on Amazon and all of that. Show them love because they deserve it. We're going to get on this next one. Like I said, this is about the TikTok ban. It's titled Federal Appeals Court Upholds Law Requiring Sale or Ban of TikTok in the U.S. Again, they were fine with TikTok through the whole election, but now that we're done with the election, let's get back to banning TikTok. Like we've been saying, this is all about control. That's really what it is. Hit that thumbs up over on Rumble, and let's get this rolling.
New at midday, a federal appeals court is now upholding a law that could lead to a ban on TikTok. A panel of judges from the D.C. Court of Appeals ruling today that a law requiring TikTok to break ties with its China-based parent company ByteDance or be banned by mid-January is constitutional. President Biden signed the law earlier this year with support from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle who believe TikTok poses a national security threat because of its connections to China. However, President-elect Trump says that he is against a ban. TikTok claimed that it was being unfairly targeted and that this move was against the First Amendment. TikTok and its owners are expected to appeal now to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, so just staying up to date with TikTok. We've talked about this a lot prior to the election going on because, like I said, during the election, they were fine with it. They were all campaigning on TikTok, and they didn't have a problem with it. The thing that they don't like about TikTok is they can't control it. So when you go look at Harris HQ and see how many people follow them, and then go look at the real Donald Trump and see how many people follow him, they can't fudge those numbers. TikTok's not going to fudge the numbers for them. They don't control TikTok. And so you get to just blatantly see that President Trump is far more popular than Hyena Harris or Biden or any of those bastards. President Trump is far more popular than they are. See, over on X or on Facebook or wherever, they can fudge those numbers. You know, YouTube and all of that, they can make those numbers look similar and stuff. On TikTok, they don't have that reach. They're not able to. Same thing with censorship. TikTok does have censorship, like most platforms do. But it's not in uniform with all the other platforms. When a word comes by that they don't like wrestling, right? Old man Walter was wrestling with that idea. If right-wing people ran and carried that far enough, that'd be a red word. You wouldn't be able to say wrestling anymore. So that means on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I mean, all across the board, you would not be able to say that red word because you would just be suspended or banned or whatever. You would be punished. But you could go to TikTok and say it. because the White House can't reach out to TikTok and go, hey, we talked all the social media groups into banning this word or this person or whatever, and you need to get on board with it. TikTok, they're not in the loop. And that's what the government doesn't like, is they can't control the perception of that platform to make it uniform with all the other social media platforms. That's the real deal. If it was really about the CCP, they wouldn't let them into the country where they can smuggle weapons and military technology to send it out to North Korea like we covered yesterday. They wouldn't be able to do that. But see, they don't worry about that shit, and they don't even blame the border for it. Instead, they're telling you to take TikTok off your phone because China bad. Oh, okay. Doesn't matter when they're in your backyard, but when they're in your phone, they're bad. Oh, okay. That shit doesn't make any kind of sense. It's because it's all about control. That's what it's about. Next up, we got Boston City Council member is arrested on fraud and theft charges. This is Tanya Anderson. I guess she's a BLMer, and she also is a Muslim believer. She's a piece of shit. She's a full-blown piece of shit. We got a little clip here of her being a piece of shit because I didn't know who she was. I just knew she was arrested for being a piece of shit. But I went and got a little clip so we can see what she's like when she's not being arrested. Both those are coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about TikTok. Mr. B New, get this lame duck out. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens because they just want to sell it. They just want to sell TikTok so they can control it. Ain't that right, Klaus Daniels? Mm-hmm. What's up, big booty? You being a good boy? Yeah, I know. It's about time you showed up to work today. The hooligans thought I ate you. Thought I made you into tacos. Yes. All right, well, you need to sit your booty down. No, not like that, buddy. Jesus loves us. Go on. Get going. Go. Move the toes. No, lay down. Jesus loves us. Lay your booty down. Get in your taco bowl. Do the thing. Do the thing, you little bastard. All right. Anyways. What's up, SOS? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Stoner? Happy freedom to you. Hidu, all the good cops retired because of BLM. They retired because of the jab, too. A lot of them were mandated to get the jab, and they didn't want it. If they were eligible to retire, they did. Military, a lot of fields did that. We wonder why everything sucks right now. Well, it's because of that. That's a big part of it. Bobby, jail food sucks. Everything about jail sucks. The food sucks. It echoes in there nonstop. That's the part that the two things that mess me up about jail is the fact that it never stops echoing. People are farting and surround sound and shit. I hate that. Slop eating and stuff. You hear mouth noises echoing. I hate that. The other thing I hate is I'm an overthinker. I think too much and I want to be working. You can't work when you're in jail. Jail sucks. It's supposed to suck though. Green Falcon, evil will not stop itself. You're right, Green Falcon. '69 German. Let's go fishing tomorrow. All right. It's cold outside. Well, actually, it's not going to be. Tomorrow's going to be like 46. SOS TikTok ban is unconstitutional to. Wait a minute. Is unconstitutional tool to ban all media not controlled. Yeah, social media. Yep, you're right. Well, that's why a lot of people are saying it's against free speech. But that's, I don't know, it's hard to say. The other thing about this that people don't talk about, they're fine with foreign countries purchasing land here, especially China. They let China buy land here, but they won't let China run an app here? How does that make sense? China purchasing property that they own in America next to Air Force bases and shit, totally fine. TikTok on your phone, they're going to get you. China's going to get you. I don't know. Selling fear. That's what they're doing. Contempt. terms of service is just another reminder Big Brother works here. Yeah, contempt. It's true. Well, and they even kind of made it a law to a certain degree, because if you look at how they're treating Telegram, they picked up the CEO of Telegram to criminally charge him because the users on his platform go unrestricted. And that means that because he didn't have terms of service where he can turn around and suspend your accounts and ban you and stuff, now he's being criminally charged. That's because it's available to the public. If it was a private entity like the website, it'd be different. The rules are different. It's more like being in your house. But when something's available to the public for free, you got to play the rules. You got to play the game by the rules. You got to censor your users. You have to give them the ability to report each other and strike each other and tell on each other and all kinds of it's nasty. You got to, like, in order to have an online community, it's got to be toxic as fuck, or else it's not allowed. And that's why over on the website, there's a membership fee. It's because it makes us private. So we're not susceptible to the same public rules like Facebook and all them. We don't have to have terms of service and all that because it's private. You still can't break the law, but it's not the same thing. Like if you go to Facebook and you get your little feelings hurt and shit, Facebook has to provide ways for you to handle that situation, or else Facebook is liable for your mental health or whatever. Contempt. Everything the people consume is approved by a 3-letter agency before it is allowed to be broadcast. Been that way for a long time. Yeah, contempt. Lion's Heart. I also agree with you about bringing back a punch to the face. It makes people act right. If people were scared to get punched in the face, they'd act right. Like when I was a kid, I used to get my ass whooped in line at the grocery store. My mom used to just like hang me up by one arm and just beat me to death in front of everybody. And people would be like, "Hey, you need a hand with that?" Like that was it. That was the thing. But you know what? I fucking acted right because I didn't want to get beat in front of everybody. I didn't want that. I didn't want those problems. And now you got people who will rub it in your face. They'll be nasty and toxic and just rub it right in your face because they think you're not going to punch them in the face. But God, if you do punch them in the face, holy, the scene that they cause, because they never thought you would do that. But if we lived in a society where you had to worry about being punched in the face, I bet you'd fucking act right. Got to make those punches in the face great again. And it's like when you go to those states that have really lenient gun laws, those people are polite as fuck. Because chances are the person you're bumping into or you're cutting off in traffic, chances are they're armed. They got a gun on them. So people are a lot more polite in those areas than if you go to these blue states where people are all methed out and committing crime and shit, Locked and loaded, he's hunting sticks. He better not. Better not have no sticks. You ain't smuggling no sticks, are you? Gonna have to run him through the x-ray machine like it's like the airport. Got to run him through. Just make sure he's not smuggling any weapons here. Crab Nebula, jail should have better food at least. God knows we pay enough taxes for it. I mean, yeah, for as much money as taxes go to jail, yeah, the food should be better, but it's terrible. Jail's terrible. It's supposed to be, though, so, Russell, Klaus is so mistreated. I know. Just a terrible dad. Terrible dad. Poor Klaus Daniels. Hair Juicer, oh my God, I'm probably going to barf telling this hand story. I didn't realize how much it traumatized me. Well, I can't wait, Hair Juicer. We got about an hour and a little less than an hour and a half until we got the voice chat. What's up, Jack? Happy freedom to you. Jack, politicians lie, cheat, steal, and eat babies, and that's okay, but free speech is the enemy. Flamboyant logic. You're right, Jack. You are right. And those people on Capitol Hill, they're all scared of words, too. That's how they live their life. They're scared of words. But we live in this fictional reality. I don't know. I keep thinking about all the technology we have now and how it's changing the way we are as a society. Like, we got calculators to do the math for us. We got spell check to make sure that we can spell correctly. And now we have AI to think for us. I think in 10 years, we're just going to be even dumber than we are now and less capable of caring for ourselves. We're going to make ourselves too stupid to be self-sufficient. I think that's what they're doing on purpose. They give us these little gadgets to make our life easier. And the newest gadget we got is AI. And AI's whole purpose is to do the thinking for you. You don't even have to think anymore. You just have the AI do it. You're just going to be a dud. You're just going to be sitting there brain dead. And and that's where they're walking us into it. Because as long as we got our dumb little gadgets, we're happy. But we're dumb as shit. And the government loves that. Go ahead, keep your little GPS gadget with you. Let it do the thinking for you. Let it do the math for you. Let it remember all your phone numbers. Let it remember everything you would need to know in life. You won't be able to set a fire by the end of the fucking decade because you'll just be too fucking stupid to do it. Just keep your device near you so we can track you and keep paying those taxes. That's how the government likes it. And they're walking us right through it too. We're like cattle. It's all right. Snooks, I just want to borrow Klaus for a month. I told you that you could bring him here. Nah, you'd be giving him back. Klaus is a handful. He's a handful. Well, hooligans, we're going to get into this next video here. This is Boston City Council member is arrested on fraud and theft charges. Now, we're going to play these two videos back to back. They're both pretty short. This first one is the individual being arrested for being a piece of shit. The second video is an example of them being a piece of shit. I brought both just in case you didn't know who this individual was, because I didn't know who they were, not until they were arrested. They were picked up by Fed boys too. FBI showed up at their house to arrest them. Accountability decided to come to work today. Once again, this is titled Boston City Council member is arrested on fraud and theft charges. Hit that thumbs up button over on Rumble and let's get this rolling.
Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson, that is, has been arrested on federal public corruption charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office and FBI confirmed the arrest this morning. The federal indictment claims that Fernandez Anderson gave a staffer a $13,000 bonus with the expectation that they'd kick back the bonus in cash to her. And a $7,000 exchange allegedly happened in a city hall bathroom. Fernandez Anderson was first elected to the Boston City Council in November of 2021. She is the first African immigrant and Muslim American to serve on the Boston City Council. She represents the District 7, which includes Roxbury, Dorchester, Fenway, and part of the South End. Investigators in the case say she abused her position for personal gain.
The councilor failed to recognize and adhere to the most basic of social expectations, not to lie or steal from others, especially those who put their trust into her to do what is right.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says the investigation is still open and more charges could be filed against other suspects involved. Fernandez Anderson is set to make her first court appearance at 3 this afternoon in Boston.
Well, like I said, we're going to play both these videos back to back. That is what she's being charged with as of right now. Now, the video they were showing is just her passing through. She was actually arrested at her house. The Fed boys went over there and arrested her. Now, it wasn't too aggressive. They didn't go in there guns blazing or whatever. The video I saw, she came out, she put her hands up, she's wearing a coat and stuff. They handcuffed her, they threw her in the car. It was FBI agents and she was arrested. Now, I assume she's out on bond or whatever. But they are saying that she's going to be held accountable. This video right here is just her showing her true colors. This is titled Tanya Fernandez Anderson, a woke BLM Muslim.
What the do I have to do in this council in order to get respect as a black woman? What?
So that's who she is. That's who was just arrested there for mishandling money intentionally, trying to be a swindler. And like I said, accountability decided to show up today. Next up, we got the last little bit of our news. It's titled, What'd you think of Joe Biden pardoning his son? Like I said before, this is a street interview with people passing by, asking Americans what they really think about Joe Biden pardoning his crackhead son. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about that arrest. Snooks. I like handfuls. Yeah, Klaus, he's a handful, all right. Normal Times, if she changes her last name to Biden, it'll all be forgiven. That's right, Normal Times. Bobby, I eat paint chips. She does too. Viola, whoa, yeah. Yeah, she seems like a really nice lady. Wow, locked and loaded. I can't read that out loud, but that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Hooligans Island, she'll beg for a pardon from Biden? Probably. Hooligans Island, only Americans should be voted in office. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's just a piece of shit. She's a DEI hire. That's what happened. It's not like she's actually qualified. She just got in there and then she turned around and stealing money. It wasn't good enough that she was the first of this label, that label, and the other label to ever be up there on the board. Now she's got to steal money from those people too. What does she got to do to speak as a black woman or whatever she said? Nothing's good enough. Nothing's ever good enough for these people. You get hired in just because the way you look or wherever your DNA is from. No qualifications really needed. Steal from them anyways. What a lowlife. What a lowlife. Zero, probably how they do business in her home country. Bribes. Well, it wasn't even a bribe. She was like stealing money. Like, hey, I'm going to pretend to give you a bonus, right? Like a Christmas bonus. I'm going to give you $10,000 as a Christmas bonus. But you got to give me half. That's what she did. That's what she did. I'm going to use my authority to give you money you don't deserve. We're going to call it a bonus, like a gift. But then in the bathroom, you're going to hand me half that gift. And that's what she got caught doing. I don't even know how she got caught. But I think that's also why they worded that video the way they did, saying that there could be possible more charges for her and others involved. Because this, potentially this isn't the first time she did this. But she thought she was being clever. Russell, well, quit cussing at the council. Yeah, that's a good start. You do. Tell Klaus I said pss, pss, pss. He hears you. He hears you. Oh, big booty. Oh, and I'm disturbing your nap? Oh, he's so tired. Oh, he's so tired. Yes. He tired. Well, we're going to get on this next video here. This is, what do you think of Joe Biden pardoning his son? Like I said, this is random street interviews done by Fox News. This video is being hosted by Jesse Waters. But he's not going to go out in the street, though. They got somebody else doing it. Either way, this is kind of a light transition, like yesterday. Light transition into our funny stuff. Once again, this is, what do you think of Joe Biden pardoning his son?
So Biden's decision to pardon Hunter didn't really sit well with Democrats. But what about regular people? What do you think? Johnny went outside.
What did you think about Joe Biden pardoning his son?
What did you expect?
He's stupid.
It sounds like something any father would probably do.
I don't really think nothing about Joe Biden.
And you ain't black. Why did Joe Biden need to pardon his son anyway?
Well, that's a great question.
Any other subjects? Any other subjects? Other subject.
Drugs and something like that, and some other stuff, and hookers and money, and something about Ukraine.
Hid things on his computer.
He had an illegal
weapon. What is this? Gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Well, that's illegal.
I said it's illegal. Joe lied to the American people.
Yes,
he said
did.
he wasn't going to pardon his
Yes,
son,
he did.
and then he did it.
Yes,
Are
he
you
did.
sick of politicians lying to you?
The definition of politic is to lie.
It's like having a woman that cheats on you. She's gonna tell you she won't do it, but she did it.
Let's do something about it. Let's get a revolution going up in here.
Peacefully and patriotically. If your son was in trouble, would you pardon your son?
Nah, I wouldn't pardon him. Go learn a lesson.
Would not pardon.
You'd let him suffer in jail?
Skip that crime
if you can't handle the time.
I would spank him and send him to bed without pudding.
Probably the best place I've ever been in my life.
Joe Biden's going to be giving out these pardons like candy now.
Yeah.
He's got only a couple of months left. Who else do you think he's going to pardon?
He could pardon a lot of people in different countries.
He can only pardon Americans.
Only Americans.
Honestly, I think you're giving him a little bit too much credit because I don't think he's calling the shots.
Puff Daddy want to pardon the people from Abercrombie and Finch.
Harvey Weinstein.
Charles Manson. Oh, he's dead, sorry.
Hillary Clinton.
She very civilly said, "Pardon me."
Trump's going to have the pardon power soon. Who do you want to see Donald Trump give a pardon to?
People that are in jail for coke. Come on, everyone does a little coke.
What about you?
Not today.
Menendez brothers, yeah, them.
You know he's gonna pardon himself.
And the best part of this plan is, no one can stop me.
If you were given the power to pardon someone, who would you pardon?
The prisoners that are in jail for cannabis.
I'm going to pardon everybody in New York City because I'm a New Yorker.
Can I get a pardon?
You're not convicted of anything. What you convicted of? You're a good reporter. I haven't seen anything bad about you yet.
Yet.
Yet is the operative word.
There's somebody that comes to the top of my head, but I wouldn't do it.
What did he do? Do you need a pardon?
No, I'm good. I'm an angel. I mean, as far as you know.
I'm a good girl.
I'm great. I'm good. You have nothing to worry about me.
When I was young, I did some robberies and gun possession.
So Hunter gets off on a gun charge and you had to do the time.
I actually did 22 years straight.
I have some speeding tickets.
If you had a get out of jail free card, what would you do?
I would get out of jail, right?
Duh. Steal a really fast car.
I would rob a big jewelry store.
What would you take from the jewelry store?
Diamonds, some gold, chains.
Get some gold bars from the bank.
This hearing is adjourned.
Did you watch Fox News?
No, but my sister-in-law does. It's for you, Lila.
Shout out to Fox News.
What do you want to tell Jesse Waters on Fox News?
Hey, Jesse. My uncle's name is Jesse. I love that name.
So remember I was telling you that people are stupid? Like, holy shit. That's all right. That's all right. Seems like everyone's on the same page here. He's a liar. He shouldn't have lied about it, but he did, and then he pardoned his crackhead son anyways. Now, a lot of people feel like they would just pardon their kids regardless and stuff, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't be in that position, and I think that's the hard thing that people don't think about in this situation is old man Walter didn't raise his kid. His kid turned out to be a bad adult. His bad adult son went and committed crimes. Now, if you raise your kid right and then your kid goes out there and commit crimes, well, then maybe you'll sympathize with him. You're like, oh, he was such a good boy. I can't believe he did this. Let's give him a second chance or something. But if you just raise this little piece of shit and he grows up to be a bad person and that bad person commits crime, what are you pardoning them for? Like, they're just going to continue to break the law. They're going to go to jail no matter what because you're not even holding them accountable after they break the law. So they're going to think they can get away with it. So they're going to break more laws. Therefore, they're going to end up in jail. And you ain't going to be able to pardon them that time. I don't think people are thinking about it in that way. So I would never raise a bad kid. So therefore, if my kid that I raise right breaks the law, I'm not pardoning them. They need to face consequences for their actions. That's just like any other person, right? You got to face consequences for your actions. You don't. You're going to continue to act like a piece of shit. So I don't know. Those people that they were interviewing were quite goofy. The one looks like a straight up prostitute, but that's all right. We're going to read through the chat really quick, but next up we got a feel good video from President Trump and a funny video titled The Joe Biden Effect. Both those are coming up next, but like I said, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about those street interviews. What's up, guess some? Happy freedom to you. Russell, these people are great. There's something. Snooks, when is an adult responsible for themselves? Well, I don't know. It kind of depends. Like, I wonder how people would feel if Joe Biden had a daughter. Because I think people are more inclined to pardon their daughter than their son. Just saying. So when it comes to when is adults responsible for themselves, depends if you're talking about a boy or a girl. Boys are held accountable most of the time. Girls, You don't get held accountable. I ain't never seen a girl being held accountable. That woman being arrested there, that's the first time I've ever seen a woman arrested. Guess my son is not guilty of anything, so I will pardon him. Yeah, I guess exactly. Here, Juicer. It's every person's God-given right to use fully automatic weapons while high as eagle tits. You're right here, Juicer. I mean, what is it even America anymore? You know, I love that old video of Americans being challenged with no longer being able to drink and drive, and they get all mad. They're like, "What the hell? A man should be allowed to drink a beer on the way home after working a long day at work? This is bullshit. This is supposed to be America, damn it!" Like, getting all mad. I love that. I'm like, damn, I know we could drink and drive legally. Now, obviously, that's a bad thing. Don't be out there drinking and driving, but it's a funny video. Alistair, the J6 political prisoners. Yeah, I think President Trump is going to pardon all of them. Hair juicer. Well, yeah, I forgot he does have a daughter, but he didn't have to pardon his daughter. That's what I meant. Yeah, he does have a daughter, but I meant if his daughter was a crackhead like Hunter Biden, if they were to be side by side, same situation, right, and he was to pardon Hunter and not his daughter, people would be all bent out of shape. People would expect him to pardon his daughter, but I don't think people generally expect him. It's not expect, I guess, but assume that it's a good thing that he pardons his son, especially because everybody already knows who his son is. They know that laptop shit is everywhere. I hate seeing those images, and I'm always scared that I'm going to come across them uncensored or something, because we had a lot of stuff back in 2020. We had a lot of documents and stuff being sent to us, and sometimes we were receiving documents that I wasn't even willing to open because of what the material could be inside. So I don't know. I don't think there's a good excuse to be pardoning Hunter Biden. Russell, well, he was also committing crimes for Joe. Yeah, that's true too. That's the real bad thing about the pardon. It's not just that Hunter Biden is a crackhead criminal, but the crimes he was committing benefited his dad. So his dad's stringing his crackhead son out there like, hey, I don't care if you bang hookers and do drugs, just make sure that you give me my money. Like, oh, they're so disgusting. Jesus loves this guest some. When he walked in the shower and seen his daughter, he said, "Pardon me, it counts." Yeah, I guess you're right, guess some. She got pardoned all right. It's in the diary. Normal times the worst administration in memory. Yeah. Oh yeah. He do. Boys do most of the crimes. That's true, he do. Boys do commit more crimes than females. Libby Racer, I didn't do nothing. Yeah. Well, like Jill said, he's such a sweet boy. He's just looking for a father's love. That's what he's doing with that crack cocaine and those hookers. He's just looking for a father's love. Normal times I sense a movie in the works. Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. The Obamas put together a Hunter Biden movie. Talk about how he was just the Republicans are just going after him for political gain. Hunter Biden's such a sweet boy looking for a father's love. The downfall of Hunter Biden. Mm-hmm. Told to care. I think Hunter was going to throw Biden, daddy, under the bus, unless that could be too old to care. I didn't even think of that. Give Hunter a pardon, or else Hunter's going to spill his guts. Well, that could have been. Hey, thank you for being here, Viola. Crab Nebula, father's love. Yeah, that's what they were saying. It was KJP was saying that during the press briefings. Hunter Biden, he just needs father's love. Yeah, and then he became an adult. Lion's Heart, I think they purposely find dumb people for those segments. Probably. Dumb people are entertaining. Hooligans Island, if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you? How can you have any pudding if you don't have any meat? If you don't eat your meat? I don't know what that woman was talking about. Spankings and going to bed without pudding. What the fuck happens at her house? It sounds like another Diddy situation over there. She was wearing her fake fur. Like she had shaved KJP. Crab Nebula. Oh, right. Hunter's holding the cards. I didn't think of that either. Yeah. That is an interesting perspective there. That maybe Hunter was holding all the cards there. He's just like, hey, you didn't give me that pardon, right? Joe's like, yeah. He's like, you better, old man, or else I'll drop the next laptop. Joe's like, all right, send the pardon. They're going to give him Joe's laptop. That's what was going to happen. Guess so. Maybe it was Hunter he's seen in the shower. I don't want to know anymore, guess so. I don't want to know about family gangbangs and stuff. The Bidens are gross enough without that. We're going to get into this next video. This next video is our feel-good video of the day. It's titled, President Donald Trump Wins Patriot of the Year. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you guys really quick, if you guys would like to participate in our Christmas unboxing that we do every year, I should have been telling you this a week ago, and I totally forgot. Definitely go check out the wish list over on the link tree. We have lots of items listed on the wish list. I'm going to add some more for Klaus Daniels. But usually what we do every year is we do a Christmas unboxing for everything that you guys send. So anything you guys send to me, either through the P.O. box, if you guys want to send your own gifts, or if you would like to purchase things off the wish list, it will be sent to me automatically. But either way, everything I get between now and Christmas, I'm going to just hold for our Christmas unboxing. I think we will do it for Christmas Day. That's what I'm planning on right now, unless some changes happen. So if you guys would like to send me something for Christmas, me or Klaus, to be a part of the Christmas unboxing, you're welcome to use that wish list that is on the link tree. Or you can find the contact page on jeffmaclive.com to get the P.O. box if you would like to send us something of your own choosing. We always do this every year. We try to make Christmas a fun time, so I should have been doing this a week ago, but I just remembered last night. So once again, if you hooligans would like to participate in the Christmas unboxing, you're welcome to send us something to the P.O. box, something of your own choosing, or purchase something off the wish list that will be sent to me automatically. You don't have to worry about addresses or emails or anything like that. But go ahead and participate while we got time. And like I said, anything I receive between now and Christmas, we're going to hold on to it. We're going to stock up, and we're going to have ourselves another Christmas unboxing. We're going to get into this video here. Like I said, this is President Donald Trump winning Patriot of the Year. Now this is kind of news, but the reason I put it as our feel-good video of the day, we're also going to watch it full screen. The reason I put it as our feel-good video of the day is because it kind of feels like a Trump rally. And I know everybody's been itching for a Trump rally. And so when I was watching this, it felt like a feel-good video, and that's where it landed on the schedule. Hit that thumbs up button over on Rumble, and let's get this rolling.
I just want to say we're going to bring prices down. We're going to make our country safe. We're going to stop people from robbing our stores and hurting our people. We're going to, and we'll get involved with governors, including Democrat governors, because that's unfortunately, whether you like it or not, that's where the crime is. It's in virtually every case, it's with Democrat-run cities and states, and we're going to stop it. We're going to work with the governors and the mayors, even if they're Democrats, and we're going to get it down, and we're going to bring our country back, and it's going to be bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And we're going to be proud of our country again. Right now, we're not so proud of our country. We're going to be very proud of our country again. It's going to be better than ever before. It's going to be more successful than ever before. We're going to be more respected throughout the world than ever before. Countries are going to respect us again. They already do, actually. I think you have seen more happen in the last 2 weeks than you've seen in the last 4 years, and we're not even there yet. We're not even there yet. So I just want to thank, this is a fantastic group of people. This is a fantastic turnout. This is very impressive. And you're my friends. You're my friends, and we're going to be friends with this country, and we're going to do something that I've been talking about for 8 years. We had it done. We created the most successful economy in the history of our country. We were doing so good. Our border was the lowest numbers ever, the lowest number of illegal immigrants coming into our border that we ever had. The famous chart. Do you remember the chart that I looked over to the right? Ooh. I still have that throbbing feeling. That beautiful chart that I looked over. Well, that chart showed we had the best immigration, the lowest number of people in the history of our country recorded. In the history of our country, that's what we achieved. And we're going to achieve it again and very fast. It's going to be very fast because we have no choice. But we're going to do something that I've been talking about for 8 years. We're going to do it again, and we have to do it again. And that's, we're going to make America great again. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tyrus. Thank you, Tyrus.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Well, that's President Trump there for our feel-good video of the day. Of course, he is accepting the award Patriot of the Year. To be expected. Like I said, it's got the vibes of like a Trump rally. I'm itching for a Trump rally so bad. Landed right on the feel-good video of the day. This next one is our official funny video of the day. This one is titled... Let me get this pulled up really quick. This one is titled The Joe Biden Effect.
Hooey, I swear, if it was raining vaginas outside, I'd walk out here and get hit with a 4-foot dick. Just right across. So my dumb ass goes over to the Fight Club to get groceries. If you don't know what the Fight Club is, that's Walmart. Yep, the local, they call it Super Walmart. I don't know why they call it Super, but we call it the Fight Club. Well, it's allergy season, and look where I live. I live in all the allergies, all the sneezy pollens right here. So I sneeze a lot. Well, I pull up in the Fight Club to go get my groceries, and I go to get out the car, put one leg out the damn thing, and as soon as I did, I sneezed, and when I sneezed, I shit right in my fucking pants, right there. Now I'm half in, half out of the car, and I don't know what to do because every decision is wrong at this point. So I got back in the car, I hovered on the seat, I drove home, driving a stick and hovering your ass up. That's fun. I finally get home, jump in the shower, and snit all over the shower. A sneeze shit. I said, Hershey did. What the fuck?
The Joe Biden Effect. I ain't never snit before. That is something else. Sneeze shitting. I'll save it for when I get old. I'll tell you guys about it. Either way, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. So I'm going to drop this link to all of you hooligans. We're going to read through the chat really quick, and then we will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance and wrapping things up. But we'll be live again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Free Speech Saturdays, Coffee with Hooligans. So if you are going to attend Coffee with Hooligans tomorrow, just remember there's no YouTube, no Twitch, because those are censored platforms that want to be sissies and give me fucking suspensions for being too funny and all that. We ain't got time for communism on Saturdays. So it's Free Speech Saturday. Make sure that if you do watch on YouTube or Twitch, get used to using that Linktree link. It has all of the spots we go live listed at the very top of the Linktree. So if you do watch on YouTube or Twitch, make sure you grab that Linktree and find another spot to hang out, because there's no Twitch or YouTube on Free Speech Saturday. Also, another reminder, in less than an hour, we will be over on jeffmaclive.com doing our voice chat, which is a lot of fun. We sit there and laugh our asses off for a couple hours. It starts at 6 p.m. and usually, I kind of assume it's going to be over by 8, but like last time, I was there till 10. Some of you hooligans were there till like 5 o'clock in the morning, so you never really know. Either way, get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. That way you can join us for the voice chat. Like I said, it starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Gonna read through the chat really quick. We got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up, and we'll be wrapping this up. Hair Juicer, been there on a road trip. Always have extra clothes. Yeah, Hair Juicer, I ain't never had to go through that. If I was snitting, my ass is going home. That's how it goes. I'm going home. If I'm sneeze shitting, I'm not hanging out today. That's how it's going. Hair Juicer, watch the wall. I'll have to see what that is. Guess I'm going to the beer store, joining chat, maybe late. Be safe out there, guess I need to get some beer too. Actually, I think I got some blueberry wine. Me whining it up. I'll be whining a lot. Thank you, Pumpkin. I appreciate you being here. Libby Racer, they make shapeshifter cartoons now? I hate hearing that. Gotta do away with the shapeshifters. Appeal to heaven. Nah, I burped, farted, and sneezed all at the same time. Well, geez, appeal to heaven, I'm glad you're still with us. I feel like if you sneeze and fart at the same time, you have a danger of imploding. I haven't seen it yet, but that's how it feels when you go through it. I know that. Jack, something wrong. I say, something wrong with that boy. Yeah, I guess. He needs to lay off the Taco Bell. That's what happened. Hedo, why would you share that? It was a PSA to others that might be snitting out there. Tiger Jaw, Wally World Fight Club. I know, I ain't never heard of it called the Fight Club before. Tree Herder, who pooped my pants? Hate when that happens. Told Kira, hate those sharts. They just sneak up on you. Bobby, deport them unless they have big boobs. Well, Bobby, I don't know if you got what it takes to be a border agent, but maybe. Maybe. Jack, obliterate the deep state. You are right. What's up, JT3? Happy freedom to you. SOS Joe has mainstream shitty pants. Yeah, I think you're right. He normalized it. Crab Nebula, wine. I've got Merlot. Maybe I'll join you. Hell yeah, Crab Nebula. I got blueberry barefoot. Some barefoot wine, but that's better fruit. It's better fruit if you're fancy. You gotta have the pinkies out while you're drinking your $9 wine. And I like to add a little blueberries. I don't think I have any blueberries today, but that's all right. What's up, John S? Happy freedom to you. Always pack underwear on a carry-on. Yeah, you can't bring too many socks, too many unders when you're leaving the house. Oh yeah, I've never heard of that here, Juicer. I don't know what that is. Hey, thank you for being here, Too Old to Care. I hope you have a good weekend as well. Well, hooligans, it is that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. And wake up, Klaus Daniels. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Try to get Klaus Daniels to stand up. He wouldn't even stand up. You're not a real American, Klaus Daniels. Whoop your little ass. Well, we're going to read through the chat one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind. But like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for Free Speech Saturdays Coffee with Hooligans. So no YouTube, no Twitch. Use that Linktree link to make your way to a better platform for tomorrow's live. We're going to read through and we're wrapping her up. Hopefully I'll see you guys on the website, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Like I said, about 44 minutes from now for our voice chat, which is a ton of fun. So definitely go get yourself a membership. Guess winos ain't afraid of nothing but running out of wine. 2 live. Yeah, you're right, guess some. Hair Juicer, I'm going to make you Google some weird shit before the day's over. Yeah, I figured, Hair Juicer. I figured that's where we were heading. Mike T, in school as a kid that happened to it. Wait a minute. Trouble for not asking permission to leave the room. I don't know what you're saying, Mike T. Hey, thank you for being here, Matthew. I hope you have a fantastic night. Thank you, AR16. That's right, Nana. Play ball. Thank you, Pumpkin. Much love to you. Thank you, Viola. Thank you, Tony Rich. Appreciate you, Hooligans Island. Thank you for being here. Hooligans Island, I got me a Border Patrol hat and thinking about wearing it to Wally World where all the aliens shop. There you go, Hooligans Island. That's a plan right there. That's a plan. Hey, thank you, Crab Nebula. Appreciate you being here with us. Locked and loaded. Going vintage tonight. I got a couple OEs and going to watch Minister Society. I don't know what any of that is, but I hope you have a good time, Locked and Loaded. All right, I think we are good to go. Hope you have a good night as well. Got some. Happy freedom, Cassie J. I didn't see you slide through. Matt, the compartment I keep the first aid in my truck also has a roll of TP. That's a good idea, Matt. Toilet paper, socks, unders. You can't have enough of that. You know, you need all that you got at all times. You never know. Either way, like I said a million times, we will be live again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for Free Speech Saturdays Coffee with Hooligans. Got the voice chat going on in about 42 minutes over on the website. So hopefully I see you guys there. You got to have a membership, so definitely go check them out. I wonder if there's still Hooligans on the free membership. I should look into that stuff. Either way, hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic night. Definitely be safe out there. Those crazies, they're out there and they're everywhere. Also, Bambi Al-Qaeda. Got to watch out for Bambi Al-Qaeda. You never know. They can get you anywhere. Either way, have a fantastic night. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans. And I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support. And I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.